Okay, well, I'm just trying to. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, guys. Hi. Good night. Guys, I'm literally just chilling. So you can just like ask random questions or whatever. What you gonna do? You gotta get on the groove. Tell me, how you gonna do it if you really don't take a chance? I'm standing on the wall. Oops. Wait, should I lower?
You're fine.
Oh. Get down on it. Get down on it. Get down on it. Get down on it. Y'all, sometimes dance. Come on. Sometimes I'm a very like introverted person, but sometimes, man, sometimes I'm like, you know, like those there's like this meme, uh not this meme, like kind of like this meme kind of video where it's like introverts at 3 a.m. like when they're alone in their room, and it's like this really tough beat, and it's like this stick man, and he's like he's like it's so funny. So funny. Wait a second, it's a Sunday night. Uh yeah. Yeah, Sunday night. Dancing, yeah. You show it. Down on it. Down on it. Get down on it. I think it would be cool like if you have like people who you're like close with, you can just chill together like at your house, and then you're just like busting a move, you know what I mean?
That's what people used to do before they had a lot of this online stuff.
Well, yeah. Exactly, cuz it's like with my friends, dance. Come on. Yeah, with my friends, sometimes I just hang out with them or whatever when I had friends, and just jamming music and just like dance is stupid, like, and that was fun. That's fun. I don't think it's fun to like go to like legit parties and like just bust down, like bust down, Tatiana, bust down. No, no, nothing like that. But um, yeah, things used to be fun because you had people that you trust, that you like, that were just like chill, and you guys would just be there being your natural stupid self and just, you know. But now things are ridiculous and retarded. Um and then sometimes sometimes I'll just like be in the bathroom like doing my hair, and I'm like bing, 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 ding, Michael Jackson ding, 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 in the ear. I'll just be like jamming, and I'm like, I could low-key be at like a barbecue right now, just like, which is funny. I like the vibe of being at a barbecue, but not actually eating at the barbecue. I don't know what it is. It's like between like the carbs, the heavy carbs, and like the sugars, and like all the meats and stuff. It's like sometimes it's good, but it's like I just like the vibe of being outside, some music, and just people like scattered like about randomly. And then I could just be chilling in the chair and just like rock with you all night. You into the sunlight. Rock
What
with
they say,
you.
how they recruiting tactics for human trafficking.
Huh?
Recruiting tactics for human trafficking.
Connecting through social media platforms.
Pretending to be a love interest, friend, or sponsor.
Pretending to be a love interest, friend, or sponsor. Every single person that came about to me was pretending to be a love interest, friend, or sponsor.
Yes. Promising an exciting lifestyle and money.
Go when you feel that beat.
Offering work, education, or financial support for the family.
Wait, go back up. What is it?
It says
offering work, education, financial support for their family. Judge Joe Brown tried to set me up at a university, Lemoyne in Tennessee, Memphis.
Yeah.
With you all night. I wish you guys could hear the music. If I showed you the music, then the stream would get cut from certain places.
Is money, identification documents such as passport, work locations, living arrangements, relationships.
Oh, these people are cooked.
Yes.
I wanna rock with you. Girl. You people are ridiculous. You people are cooked. You people are cooked. That's all I can say.
Labor trafficking, non-unionized industries, restaurants, hotels, hospitalities, commercial agriculture sites.
Oh, yeah, they tried to get me.
Private residences.
Private residence. Yeah, people had me working for them, cooking. You have to cook and clean for me and sleep with me, or else you don't have a place to stay. Yeah. You into the sunlight. Guys, ask questions. It's late night. I'm jamming. Ask questions. See, why do people need drugs for a vibe? You could just catch a vibe on some Michael Jackson, Kool and the Gang, Earth, Wind, and Fire, groovy down, down, boogie down, down. Let's groove tonight. Bro, they're like, that's night. No. It's so funny, like in the music video where they're just like, they're there with their like instruments while they're like playing at the same time. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys saw the movie Kronk's New Groove, but this is probably so annoying because you guys can't see the, like, you guys can't hear the music in my ear, but like Kronk's New Groove, so pretty much like, I don't know if anyone used to watch Emperor's New Groove, the TV show, and then it had the movie, and there was like Cusco, who was like the emperor, and he was just like whatever. He was funny, but he was like annoying, right? And then Kronk was like his dumb jock friend or whatever. And in Kronk's New Groove, pretty much they he's like doing this scouts thing because he's like a scouts kind of guy, and then he meets this girl who's hella on scouts kind of stuff like him, and she has her female scouts which compete against his boy scouts, and they end up in this one scene where they're like, they both go to bake raisin bread for their scouts, and he's like, is that raisin bread? It's like, I love raisin bread. She's like, I love raisin bread. And they both end up like making the raisin bread together, and the song in the back while they're like shaking the ingredients is let's groove by Earth, Wind, and Fire, and they're sitting there like like dropping the ingredients in right in the bowl, and anyway, they make raisin bread and they like fall in love, and it's hilarious. Yeah, it's so funny. There, if you want my love, we can boogie on down. And then like at that part, they have like, I don't know if you guys know when you like strain noodles or like spaghetti in that little thing. They have like two of them that like drop and it turns into like this disco thing, and they're like, it was really funny, that movie, yeah. But anyways, let's get to more serious topics. We gonna groove tonight. Okay, so I want to say something. So like, people online often think that like they have the right to tell me, can you believe it? Me. They think they have the right to tell me what I should and shouldn't do, and who I should support or shouldn't support, or what I should like and what I shouldn't like. And a lot of people think that just because they support me on these streams by like coming on, and like, just full disclosure, of course, like I love the people who come on my stream every night and like come and chat with me and make a conversation and ask questions. Like, that's cool. That's cool. I love that. I Someone said, I am going to be honest. I have no idea what this is, but I'm here for it. I got time today. That's what's up, man. Catch a vibe, right? Dum, 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 dum. Bam, bam, bam. She's a bad mamma jamma. That's what I'm listening to now. But pretty much, it's like, I don't like how people are constantly, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Okay, I like that you guys come on my streams. I like that you talk with me, you ask questions, like you show support for what I do and the work that I do, the things that I say. Like, you show support by showing up and listening to the streams. You show support by liking my stuff, by commenting, by sharing my stuff. That's cool. That's cool. I'm with it. On the flip side, that doesn't give you the right to come and tell me what I can and cannot do, um or what I can and cannot like, or what I can and can't support. And then saying that if I support something that you don't like, that means it's automatically um in opposition and denounces the whole body of work that I done, because that's not true. And I can confidently and definitively say that there is not really anybody these last 5 years of everything that I've been through that actually has done anything to help me get out of my situation or bring attention to what I've been through in a way that actually made a difference in my life in that moment or long term. There's not very many people. There's a handful of people, and like a very small handful of people that did anything that actually made a difference when I needed that difference, like in a crucial moment that actually mattered. And someone can't tell me, when it comes to life or death situations, like when you are a survivor of trafficking and you're in the thick of it, like you're in terrible, awful situations, and everyone just sits around and watches, and they're gonna have the audacity to tell me that them watching my stream when I'm like pretty much crying and like pleading for help because I'm suffering, and everyone's just like, well, we support you because we watch you. You're watching me die. You're watching me die and get passed around publicly, and then telling me, yeah, we're supporting you. You're supporting my my early death certificate getting signed. That's what you're supporting. Don't ever, ever come to me and tell me that you care about human trafficking survivors and people who are being passed around, people who are being abused and not getting help from law enforcement. Because I'm not one of those people who just come online and they just talk about it and they're just here to show, like, outline their stuff on stream and not involving law enforcement. I've involved law enforcement from the jump and provided all the evidence, and I didn't get any help. Like all of these stupid people who go around like making lies or whatever. Someone said I missed the first chapter of this story, but my heart goes out to you. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Please follow us on Rumble, Real Talk with Kaysha, and the Karis Project. But pretty much, like, it really pisses me off because it's like it's virtue signaling. It's virtue signaling, and I would tell you what. Because I would tell you what. Oh, that's what's up. Thanks for the support on Rumble, guys. I remember when I lost my mind. The thing in my ear, but I'll tell you what, because I made a post today. I made a post today. I'm gonna tell you. Let me see where it is. And some people didn't like it, but I don't care, and I'm gonna tell you why. So I quote tweeted Andrew Tate, and he it was like a Q&A on his jet or whatever. I guess he's flying to Miami, whatever. I watched the video, and he made some pertinent and crucial points in the video, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to share this and quote tweet it because I wanted people to think about it. So I'll tell you what I said, and people were pissed off about this. I was like, one might find use in pondering as to why a man like Andrew or Cobra Tate or whatever would not apologize for anything that he has done. As for the feminists, these are the people attacking Andrew the most. They cry the most because they know they will never accomplish what he's done. They want to be a child, girl boss, and better than you all at once. Andrew is proof that feminists are nothing but the place God made them to be, and for that their only capable response is tears from their lifelong failure. It is surely the beginning of the end of feminism, and nothing infuriates them more than a symbol of them losing power it took them decades to obtain. Good for you, Andrew. And I thought that was important because the things that he mentioned about feminism was crucial and true. And the things that he said about him never apologizing and the reason why he never apologized was important for people to ponder the reason for. And so it honestly was, if you really think about it and you come to the answer, it is very important for people to understand why people behave that way. So people were coming after me like, oh, well, you do the work that you do. He exploited these people and blah, blah, blah. He exploited naked women and he, takes advantage of men. Someone was like, this dude exploited naked women on camera for profit and fed into women's demonic tendencies in exchange for status, money, and it's commendable or makes him incredibly disciplined. The persecution he faced was unjust, but he's straight up talking about throwing babies in trash cans. In what world does this make sense? Now, I never said anything about in the post. I never said anything about discipline in the post, nor did I say anything about status or money or being commendable. I spoke about the ideas that he said that were true because they are true. And if Hitler said 2 + 2 = 4, 2 + 2 would be 4 still. And so I told the person, and this is someone who has, watched my stuff for a very long time and, subscribes to me. And I was like, okay, well, I appreciate your subscription to me. Your monthly subscription to me, though, as much as I appreciate it, you're looking me up on Rumble. Thank you. That's what's up. As much as I appreciate your subscription to me and your support to me, it doesn't stop the people that are hunting me down. It doesn't stop the people who are trying to kill me every single day. It doesn't stop the fact that the police are not helping me, or for many years were not helping me being as someone who's a victim of human trafficking. And it doesn't stop the fact that I was being publicly passed around and no one was doing anything about it. It doesn't mean that I'm even getting the support I need to stay alive. And this is where women like largely get really delusional, because a lot of women think that just because they're online and they're getting attention, they're getting clicks, they're getting views, that means they're getting the support they need to stay alive. They think that just because they have money in their pocket, that means that they're getting the support they need to stay alive. And it's not. You need God, you need a good father who can give you a foundation, and then you need a future husband. More than anything, you need a husband and a family that you, for yourself, you need a man who's going to support you and take care of you, who's going to love you and protect you from evil. Because if not, you're cooked. It doesn't matter if I had like 10 my 11,000 followers on Twitter or 11 million followers. I would still be cooked if I don't have a good husband. And that's just the reality, because you need a man who's going to take care of you. So it's like the support is appreciated online, but how is that keeping me alive? Right? And then so like I quoted it, and I quote tweeted him. I said, listen, I said, people who are supposedly against the trafficking that hate Andrew Tate helped traffic me. So what does that make them? I don't give a damn what anyone says about Andrew Tate, nor have I ever believed a single word of it. No one is going to sit there and convince me to hate Andrew Tate when everyone sat by and watched me be trafficked publicly for years and did nothing. Everyone and their dog can get effed as far as I'm concerned. I don't want to hear a single word about my stance on Andrew Tate, because it's just virtue signaling at the end of the day. And if this man is so disgusting and still shared the tragedy of my situation as a survivor of trafficking when no one else would, what does that say about any of you? Because Andrew has done more for me in giving attention to my situation than anyone who claims to care about trafficking, me, or the situation in general. So please spare me. Don't bother me with your words when action is necessary to solve problems. And the reason I said that is because every single person over the last couple of years, almost every single person that I've met in person that has tried to convince me that I should not have any gratitude or support, like any gratitude to Andrew Tate for what he's done, and any support for his basic human constitutional rights, almost every person was involved in trying to kill me. Almost every single person who tried to, in person, deter me from that was involved in trafficking me in some way or trying to kill me. So you're telling me that I should care more about words and people's feelings, that they're telling me that I should oppose somebody like Andrew Tate and I should speak out against him, and it's destroying the body of work that I've done because I agree with a statement that he made, an ideological statement that he made, when the people who were involved in speaking against him literally tried to kill me and were passing me around to be trafficked. If you're saying that this guy is such an evil, disgusting demon, but he was the one to share the tragedy that was going on with me at a crucial point. When Andrew shared that video, that I'll never forget this. I can't. There's no way that I could ever forget something like this, because when he shared the video, it was a clutch moment, because somebody had just come to pick me up with a machete, duct tape, rope, paraphernalia, and an abused pit bull that ended up putting me in the hospital, by the way, and a man that was waiting down the street. A woman picked me up with all those things, and she was going to drive me to a man that was waiting down the street to do God knows what, probably off me. And she said herself on video recording that it looked like she was there to kill me, and anyone would think that. So it's like, at the time he shared it, it was clutch. I'm not going to lie. I say it all the time. If it wasn't for that getting shared at that moment, I'd probably be dead, because it put so much attention on what happened that if anything did happen to me, it just wouldn't have gone like unnoticed. It just would not have gone unnoticed. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? Lie? I'm supposed to lie? And it's like, I'm supposed to be grateful to the people who are telling me to hate the person, but they've done nothing to help change my life in a moment where I've almost died countless times. People have seen me like posting about how I was in a hospital because the dog, the pit bulls attacked me, and I had to go hospital. Hospital didn't help me. Like, people seen me sleeping in bushes. I posted like all this stuff all the time, and people thought like, oh, she's just here getting clout and attention. No, I was pleading for help because I would ask the police for help and they wouldn't do anything. No matter how much evidence I had, no matter how much audio confessions or video or text message or pictures or what have you, no one ever did anything. And the person that everyone hates the most, who's the most prolific trafficker and rapist and whatever they claim him to be, and he's been dropped of all charges, apparently. It's what I see, at least, that he's been dropped of all charges, him and his brother, Tristan. It's like, those are the only people that did anything that even made a difference. And it's not like, and the person was like, oh, well, you're praising them and you just wanted the attention. You're just praising because of the attention. I could care less about the attention. I don't give three kicks about the damn attention. Someone tried to kill me. And the moment he shared it was clutch because someone tried to kill me. And after that, instead of people actually trying to help me as a person who was homeless in this situation, because after that happened, I was homeless. The police left me with the car of this lady and told me I had to go and meet with the people she was involved with to give her belongings to the people that she was involved with to keep me in the circle of these traffickers and murderers. And I was sitting in my car, or not my car, sorry, her car, one night, trying to figure out just what's going on and what to do. And these people that were across the street in a Motel 8 or something, they were like, are you okay? Like, we saw, because they saw the police like arrest her and everything, and they just watched the whole thing and they were like, are you good? And I was like, hey man, like, I don't know what's going on. And they were like, well, come to our motel or whatever. And they let me sleep on their floor that night. And then, because I was going to go to the court the next day and see what was going on with the lady, and they told me where the court was and all the other stuff and how and what number to call and all those other things. And it was like a family, like a man, a woman, and their children or whatever, like adult, like, their children were like almost my age or whatever, but they were living in that motel for whatever reason, I don't know. But they let me sleep on their floor, and which, I mean, like, it was cool. I was homeless and I posted about it. And everyone, instead of being like, oh my gosh, this is terrible what happened to this girl, instead they were like, okay, she's one of his paid assets and she's a part of this trafficking scheme or whatever. And they continued to hunt me down and attack me because he shared the video and showed the support in that moment for that or whatever. Don't know his opinion about it. Doesn't really matter because he never really said or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that he showed the support in the moment, which helped the situation. And then everyone was just attacking me. They were completely sidestepping the fact that someone had just tried to kill me and ignored the fact that someone had just tried to kill me and was just like, oh, you support Andrew Tate, why would you do that? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, somebody just tried to kill me. And this is the consistent thing that I see. It's like every single time somebody comes and says something like this, they're like, oh, don't do this and don't do that. And they're nitpicking at what I should and shouldn't do. Hey, Dion, how's it going, man? Share the stream, guys. Everyone's constantly nitpicking at what I should and shouldn't do and who I should and shouldn't support the basic human rights of and what my ideology should be and what I should say or not. But none of these people are vehemently fighting to support me to get justice for what's happened to me. Just because you come and watch my stream doesn't mean you're keeping me alive. Just because you come and watch my stream doesn't mean you've made a difference in me living to see another day. That's not how life works. And when men come and do things like this, men read actions and men produce actions because they know actions take solutions. Solutions take actions, not words. It's like, what the hell? How are you going to come and tell me? Like, what? Like, and I appreciate when people like give donations and things. Sometimes that's awesome. That's helpful. Someone said, "What up?" Hey, what's up, Dion? Like giving donations and stuff. Sometimes that's helpful because that keeps our ministry going, the work that we do going. It doesn't prevent people from trying to kill me. A lot of women get stuck in the idea that if someone gives me money, that means I'm okay. I could have all the money in the world right now. If I don't have a man, I'm cooked. I could have all the money in the world. I could be a super rich woman. I could have every amazing car, every beautiful bag or shoes or whatever. I could have all the mansions, all the beach fronts, all the private jets, whatever. If I don't have a man, that money might as well like be up in flames. All of those assets might as well be up in flames. Like a woman having money is largely useless. And a lot of people throughout the years have come to me and said, "Okay, Kaysha, like here, let me give you some cash, or let me give you some money or whatever." And in my mind, I was just like, people in positions of power, like people who speak, news anchors, very important news anchors, people who are very high up in different places would be like, "Okay, well, let me give you a few dollars for your troubles." Bro, for my troubles, a few dollars. I don't want money. I want help. I want genuine help. I need genuine help. I need attention to the problem so that it stops, for one. And I need a solution. Like, I need justice so that these people can leave me alone. Or I need to be with a man who's going to protect me from other men coming and trying to violate me 24/7. That's the solution. Not giving me a few dollars. A lot of the times the people gave me a few dollars, like money, they were spitting in my face. It's like I was at the hospital, and the guy who took me to the hospital in the ambulance, like, he said that he was mixed with Native too. He was Black. He said he was mixed with Native as well, and he understood like a lot of things I was saying. When I got to the hospital, they didn't do anything to help me. The guy, he gave me some cash and he was like, "I'm really sorry for what you're going through, and I hope it gets better." He gave me cash, and then I had to leave the hospital. The hospital didn't even dress my wounds from the pit bull attack, from being attacked by the pit bulls. They didn't even clean it. I had to go and get like things myself to try and like clean it myself, and over the course of like a certain period of time, and just hope for the best that it wouldn't get infected and have a bad situation. My granny's a nurse though, and she was telling me what things I could do, but it's like, it was really messed up. And it's like, most of the times people give women cash is because they're trying to kill them, because they know that women, for one, no one ever gave me enough cash to make a difference in my situation. They only gave me enough to keep me in my situation. And if anyone ever does give women money, they know that they'll never know how to use it to help themselves, because women just don't create circumstances the way that men do. And that's just the reality of the situation. So it's like, no, I've never been the kind of person where it's like, I want money, because I know money is not the solution. I want a husband and family. And I also want justice for what happened to me. And it's like, I want attention on the situation so it stops. And when someone put attention to the problem and they claim that it was the most evil person ever, it's like, okay, well then who are you? What kind of demon are you? What specialized version of demon are you that you're going to really sit down. You don't have any humanity that you can even say, well, you know what? That's true. You were in a really terrible situation, and he shared that information, and it did make a difference. And if anything, like at the very least, if you care about you, how you say you care about me, you're going to be like, well, at least someone with that platform took it upon themselves to have some ounce of mercy for whatever reason, and it doesn't matter because it's God at the end of the day, to share something like that. And you know what? This is why women actually become very evil. I'm going to tell you right now, this is why women become evil, and they will go with people who are like super villains, and they will support and work with people who are literal super villains. Because, and this is why women like men who are in the street, who are in street gangs or mafias and things like that. Because they're like, you know what? The good guy, he doesn't care about me. He's a good guy, but he doesn't give three kicks about me, and he will never do anything for me. He might say he loves me, but he doesn't do anything to show that he loves me. And so women, they'll see men in mafia and men on the street in street gangs, and they'll be like, well, this guy, he does a lot of bad stuff, but he protects me. He loves me. He takes care of me. He's there for me when no one else is there for me. And that's why women will do that. This is why a lot of women are going sideways in society. And I'm not even saying, yeah, those guys are even like that. Because like I said, they got allegedly cleared of charges and I don't know them. Like I've spoken to Tristan one time and that's just the end of it. Like I don't know them. But I'm speaking to a greater point. Like if people actually believe that they're evil, I'm saying that this is why women give support to people in different areas where people think and claim that they're actually genuinely evil. Because they're like, okay, well, if this person's genuinely evil, even if they were, they did something that kept me alive, and the people who are claiming to be good people are trying to kill me. So it's like, if you're trying to kill me and you've also passed me around to be raped and abused by other people because I didn't do what you said, then of course I'm going to support the person that you're claiming is evil. You're trying to kill me. You are raping me. You are trafficking me. And you're telling me that you're trying to pick at words? You're trying to mitigate the words that come out of my mouth? You're trying to mitigate the law, the law as it stands, and like me just identifying that someone deserves constitutional rights, basic human decency. Like I've not said anything else. I've not said anything else other than the fact that man's deserves his constitutional rights as an American and as a human being, you know? So it's like that people need to understand, and a lot of men, they'll sit around and they'll say that they're good men and they're like, okay, well, we're going to get in the fight. And, you know, this guy said that he's going to, you know, quit his job and join, you know, immigration or DHS or something so that he can fight human trafficking. And it's like, that's great. You're going to help other people while everyone watched me suffer for years and years. It's great you feel inspired by what happened to me to go out and physically help other people, but that leaves me physically still with no help. So it's like, yeah, great, I'm inspiring all these people to go out and help other people while they sit by and watch me suffer and die alone. And it's like, what? Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Even if someone gave me $10,000, and they didn't. Even if someone gave me $10,000 right now, it wouldn't change the fact that I haven't got any protection or any help from what happened to me. I haven't gotten any relief. It doesn't change the fact that I need a husband that's going to protect me and love me. It doesn't give me what I need. And I don't understand why people don't understand that about life and about women in general. It's like, this is why women, they prefer to date criminals than to date men who are the men who have like the degree, or they, you know, they're trust fund babies. I don't know. I see this stuff on TikTok. I don't even know what a trust fund baby is, to be honest. But like, I assume it means generational wealth or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they get
Their
money
daddy's
from
money. Okay. So
their trust fund.
exactly. So it's like it women prefer the man that they can see has the ability to go against difficult things in life and overcome difficult things. And they'll find those men. I know men like that. I know men who've had very difficult life and they've had to overcome a lot of things by themselves. Very intelligent, very capable men. And I respect them very much. And they have degrees too. The men that I respect the most, for me personally, the men that I respect the most, my father and one other man, both of them have degrees. But did the degree make them the man? No. They went through exceptional difficulty and overcame that difficulty so that they could be who they were. They just also have degrees. They also were blue collar men. So it's like, you know, I see that capability and that similarity, but that's something that I was raised watching, so I can respect that for what it is. But it's like, wow, someone said, yeah, I get that most of those trust fund slash daddy money guys are cowards. Yeah, because they never had anything difficult in life. And women are really tired of seeing men who are like, oh, I'm this nice guy, this good guy, and I done all this, and I never did any this and I never did that. And it's like, well, I would rather the guy that used to run the streets with your thugs. I'll be waiting for you until you get through. I'll be waiting. You can run the streets with your thugs. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. No, I like the guy who used to run the streets because he gets it. He understands and he's not scared. Whether it's one man or 30, he's on it. It does not matter. And he'll get it done because that's who he is. I can't stand the guy that's like, "Oh, I live this perfect life and you should like me because I live this perfect life." Well, excuse me, sir. You have no experience in anything. You're not taking action. You want to make me feel better by coming to tell me nice words, and it's honestly making me want to bash my face into the wall. Yeah. Because everyone who comes to tell me things only tries to gaslight me and big me up and say how amazing I am by myself to try and extract me from the men who's actually showed me any type of support or any respect or any love or any compassion, any mercy. And then they try to kill me. Then they try to literally rape or kill me. Like they want me to believe that I'm such this amazing person by myself, and it's like, how is that possible? I learned from the men in my life, and I'm still learning from the men in my life because my father and another man is the one that is pretty much teaching me consistently loads of things, and I'm repurposing it the way that God has made women to do. And that's just what it is. That's just the natural order of life. Which is why I identified that what Andrew said about women wanting to be simultaneously everything at once. They are children, they are girl bosses, and better than you all at once while also being victims is 100% the truth because they're feminists. And that's who's going after him and people like my father and I the most because it's a represent what he's doing. Remember the other day when I was like, you don't hate the person across from you. You hate yourself because, for one, you cannot conquer them, and they are a reminder of everything that you will never be, but you want to be, but you cannot be, and you will never obtain it. Because for women specifically, they cannot break the glass ceiling. They cannot, and they will never, because they're just not built like that. God didn't build them to usurp men's authority and control and to outwit men in circumstantial realities and strategies of war. That's just not how it works. I just saw a video today where this girl was standing in the shallow parts of the ocean on the beach where she was only a few steps from getting back on sand. Her man's there recording, watching, and she's just looking around like, oh, what a nice, beautiful day, in her bikini. And then this other guy comes over. He's like, we're clearing everybody out of the water. We're clearing everybody out of the water. And they're like, oh, why? What's going on? They're like, there's a shark in the water. Yeah, we're clearing everybody out. And then the guy sitting there watching his wife, he doesn't even move. He's just like, oh, there is a shark in the water. And she's like, oh, really? And then she's like walking out. The shark was right next to her. Women have zero spatial awareness, zero circumstantial awareness, bro. And then the guy, he's laughing and just recording. He's like, yeah, that is the shark. And he's like, oh, that's so cool. And the wife was like, is it? Is it? Is it actually? Is it actually cool? It's like, make it make sense. Everybody wants women to believe that they have the ability. You said, but that guy was still an idiot. 100% he was an idiot. What do you mean that there's a shark in the water right next to your wife and you're just sitting there laughing and telling her to get out? It was a small shark, no less, but still. But still. And it's like, people expect me to sit by men. He said, why would you not run for your wife? Exactly. I don't know why he didn't immediately drop the phone and run to his wife. But I mean, like, I don't know. Someone said, new levels bring new devils. Yeah, man, that's true. Shout out to the people on, I think that, that's on X comment. And really, sorry, pisses me off that I had someone tell me, I had a couple people, I frequently get people, like men, telling me that I should have certain, that I should have certain things in life, and that, I deserve certain things in life. And there's only two men I believe when they say that, which is my father and another man that I lean on for support, obviously. But when other men come and tell me these things, and it's because they actually demonstrate that support and care. When other men tell me these things, I'm like, okay, but you're telling me I deserve all these things, and you're rubbing it in my face. You're literally rubbing it in my face that I don't have it, because you're not helping me fix anything. You're not helping me grow as a person. You're not helping me have any of these things. You have the ability to actually help me in some of these areas, and you're refusing to help me. And then you just come back all the time telling me about problems that you complain about, but you have the platform, you have the ability, you have all these avenues and ways as a man that you can actually fix things for yourself and people around you, and also help me the way that you say that I need the help, but you choose not to, because you're not talking to me because you believe that I deserve help. You're talking to me because you want something from me personally. And it's selfish. You want me to give you what you need, but you don't want to give me anything I need. And that's what a lot of people have done over the last couple of years. They come to try and be a friend or whatever else, and they'll say, like, they want to help with all these things or whatever else, and they want to help with words. I'm going to give you emotional support. This is the most feminine nonsense. The reason why this society is like this in large, in so many ways, is because feminism has taken over so much, to the point where men believe that the solution is talking and giving you niceties and sweet nothings that will make you feel good without extracting you from the stress itself. There was a man the other day I showed on the stream when I was talking to you guys, and the guy said that he made an error in a situation with his wife because she's more emotionally intelligent than him. She's not. She's a manipulator and abuser, wants to usurp his authority and control in his own sorry, there's like something in the air, like a bug or something. It wants to usurp his authority and control as a husband, because she was not feeling good that day and she was complaining about having all this work and whatever. And he was like, well, you know what? I'll just make the bed for you, because she's complaining something about the bed. And so he tidied the bed for her. So when she came back, he was like, well, at least she'd have like a nice, comfortable bed to go back to, and she won't have to worry about it. Like, he fixed everything or whatever. She apparently got upset with him and told him that he was really inconsiderate because he didn't consider her feelings. And she's been really stressed out and everything's been really hard on her. She's just so overwhelmed. He didn't consider her feelings. So he failed her as a husband. And he was like, you know what? The solution, he said, the solution does not come before or above the considerations of a woman's feelings. And I said, oh my God. Women are using the sexual nature of their marriage and their relationship to usurp the authority and the logic and reasoning centers of the mind of their husbands. Because they would never be able to convince a man that feelings come before solutions without sleeping with him. This is diabolical. This is truly diabolical. She said, don't fix my problems and remove the stress from my life. Just give me words to make me feel better and I'll be fine. I beg your pardon? Do you know how truly diabolical and evil that is? They are training men in their minds almost to be predators. Because what kind of sick man watches his wife suffer and says, you know what, I'm just going to tell you nice things instead of removing her from the suffering? He literally fixed the problem that she was complaining about. And she came back and said, how dare you? Like that. So I didn't want you to actually fix it. I just wanted to complain and curse you. And I want you to sit there and take it. And then I want you to give me words to feel better about you sitting there and taking the fact that I just cursed you. I'm sorry, man. But that doesn't work, man. That doesn't work. I wouldn't want that. That is why men today in society are focused so much, I think, on feelings over taking action. And they really expect me to praise them for giving me praise in words and not giving actions to make a difference in my life. Like I said in the post, y'all can get effed. You can get effed. Because I don't care. And I will never care. Okay? And unless the two men in my life tell me that I need to care in some capacity or I need to take a different approach or whatever else, then I'm just not, I don't care. Because those are the only two people that actually make a difference in my life, my father and another man. And those are the only two people I listen to. Those are the only two people I take advice from, and they're the only two people I probably ever will take advice from. That's just how that works. I don't take advice from females because females are not my father, and females is not the other man in my life. So women don't know how to solve problems. They don't. They just want to feel good in the moment. Just tell me something that feels good. I don't want to feel good. A lot of rapists want you to feel good. A lot of pedophiles try to make you feel good, to nurture you into abuse. Traffickers try to make you feel good. They'll gaslight you and tell you all sorts of nonsense to make you feel good. All they focus on is feelings. And I can't stand people that focus on feelings. Sure, I have loads of feelings now for things because I've come across a man that has brought out positive feelings in me, and I can appreciate that because that needs to happen. That's supposed to happen that way. That's important. That's normal. That's good. But the feelings where people come and try to be like, oh, well, oh, I just love everything about you like this. And they're just praising me like I'm some goddess. When I'm not coming up with these solutions myself. And it's like for a man to sit there and watch my actions and understand that my actions clearly come from a man. We had a stream, well, not just with that person, but there's loads of people there's loads of people that I've come in contact with that when I say things, they're like, well, you have a father that tells you those things. And they in conversation tell me that they know those ideas come from my dad or like another man. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I trust your action in doing that. Because you're recognizing that I'm only applying this because I learned it from my father or and another man. Very clear. So you're not here trying to I recognize then that the conversation is different because you're not here trying to make me believe that I'm some fertility goddess that's like amazing and here to teach you things. They're demonstrating that I actually don't know, but I'm repeating what I'm being taught from men. Someone said, hey, I got on here a little late. What's the topic of discussion? I was pretty much saying that, like, I'm really annoyed with people coming at me some type of way and sideways because sometimes I'll say that I agree with something from Andrew Tate or anyone really, but mostly Andrew Tate or whatever. And they'll say that it negates like all pretty much what the body of work that I'd done with my father, and that he's such an evil person. But it's like, he's the only person, one of the only, major people that have shared my information in a way that's actually made a difference to my circumstance at that time. And in that moment, because obviously someone tried to kill me at that time. And the people who are complaining about me saying certain things in agreement to him, a lot of them have actually tried to kill me or have betrayed me in some egregious way and hurt me in a very egregious way, or they just support me with kind words and just try to gaslight me or just say like really nice things to me and think that that's somehow keeping me alive. Like somehow I'm flying off the coattails of comments of like people praising me with empty comments or sweet nothings and niceties. It's like, that's not how that works. Perhaps if I could live like Tinkerbell, maybe if I was Tinkerbell, then all people's gaslighting comments would keep me alive because I would die without attention. And, women are like that, like in relationships, obviously they need attention. That's a whole different thing, but there's like a different aspect to that. But if it was the attention alone that was keeping me alive, then sure, probably I would be thriving in a whole different way. But that's not how that works. Life isn't, you don't have just a bunch of Tinkerbells running around where your nice comments to me is going to keep me alive. Who of you can say that you've done anything at the level in time of circumstance the way that he has, despite how everyone's saying how evil he is? Anyone who comes and talks to me like that, please tell me what you have done for me in my life to make a difference in a way that has actually helped keep me alive in a moment when people were trying to kill me. Please tell me. When you have that answer, then you might be able to sway my opinion. And even still, probably not, because like I said, the only people I take advice from is my father and another man. And those are the only two men I'll ever take advice from. So unless you can give me an example where you've done anything to change my life in any positive way, you really, like I said, can get effed. Because I don't care what you have to say. And you don't have the right to come and tell me anything either, because you're not anyone important to me. It's like people kept telling me also not to support General Michael Flynn. Well, when I went and gave information to Lauren Boebert. And I showed her my dad's research and about the bioterrorism, the treason, the human trafficking, all of these things that was going on. I met him personally in Michigan first, and I gave him the information. And I met him at a few different events. And honestly, I respect General Michael Flynn, and I suggest everyone go and check out his social medias and stuff and look for yourself and not listen to what other people say, because like I just respect the things that he's doing. Like, and he's come on our show. You guys can go look at that episode we done with General Michael Flynn as well. And when I was in Colorado and I shared the information to Lauren Boebert, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, and she done nothing, and they said that they were going to do something to help me. We showed the audio of, her talking about that. And General Michael Flynn, the video that I posted, the live stream I posted about sharing the information with her, he shared it. He also shared it. And everyone says to hate General Michael Flynn too, but he shared it and said, this is a grave national security concern. And under a proper White House administration, it needs to be dealt with. And he worked under the Obama administration. He was a general for the defense something. So it's like, man knows what he's talking about. And everyone wanted us to, why doesn't General Michael Flynn turn on Dale and Kaysha? Why doesn't he speak out against them? And blah, blah, blah. It's like, because he's not stupid. And he knows what's going on. Like, he understands the research, and he's a general. I'm sure he probably still has, he still knows people. The man knows lots of people. He probably understands what's going on. It's not like he can't look at evidence himself. We gave him evidence. He looked things over himself. So it's like, everyone wants me to throw people under the bus that have actually shown me like an ounce of kindness in a moment that mattered. And it's like, why would I do that? If you were in the desert and you were going to die of dehydration and you came across somebody for whatever reason and they gave you a glass of cold water, you would and you were like passing, and people were passing you by in the desert, and you're crawling and you're like, ugh, and you're gonna die, and people are just watching you, and they just keep going on their camels or whatever. And for whatever reason, by the grace of God, somebody comes along and gives you a glass of cold water. It doesn't mean anything to them, and they probably won't even remember that moment. They probably just gave you that glass of cold water because they were like, oh, this person is thirsty and they're dying. And they just give you the glass of cold water. You live and you make it to your destination alive. For you, who was dying, that's a turning point in your life because you needed that glass of cold water. For the next man who gave you the glass of cold water, it was literally just a glass of cold water and nothing more. People are going to remember stuff like that. If someone comes along and tells you, okay, well, why would you care? Someone just gave you a glass of cold water. It's only a glass of cold water. In any other circumstance, it's only a glass of cold water. On the day that you were dying in the desert, it was a life-changing moment because you were dying and you needed a glass of cold water. And that's what people don't seem to understand. Well, or maybe they do, and that's actually particularly why they're pissed off, because when you're in a moment when you're about to die and someone is about to kill you, or people are trying to kill you, and they don't get away with it because someone comes along and hands you a glass of cold water, which to them is, again, just a glass of cold water, but for you, it's a lifeline. People get really pissed because they're like, that glass of cold water changed my plans, and now I have to recalculate how I'm going to kill you. And then they want to make you believe that their niceties and their sweet nothings mean something, and it doesn't. Because your niceties and sweet nothing isn't going to hydrate me and give me what I need, literally the nourishment that I need, the vigor that I need to continue on living to see another day. you always have to be grateful for the little things that people do for you in life, especially in moments where it's crucial. And people are really trying to sit here and tell me that I should have an opinion one way or the other because it hurts their feelings. Again, this is why women like men who used to be in gangs or run the streets. Because those men in the streets, they understand life, man. They understand consequences, man. Like, we talked to a man that used to be in the mafia on our show, and he was like, I understand consequences, man. I'm like, I believe it. I believe it because you can't do certain things in the streets. I know a girl that comes on our show, um, and she talks about it too. How she used to be in the streets and she had biker gang or something that helped her. And she understood consequences too because she had the support of like those men around her or whatever. It's like people who come from the streets are just different. They understand reality, where it's like people who come from a more upper level of life who never been through anything. It's like I wouldn't ever really want to be around those people because it's like I can't trust that in any situation that you would have the logic or reason to deal with anything or the spine and backbone to even like to do anything. Someone said, so you say share the stream a lot. What other than that can someone do to support you and your dad's cause? What is the proverbial glass of water in this situation? Dad, maybe you should answer that. Or scroll down and look at it if you didn't hear me what I said.
I mean, we need mainly few things. One, we need people to share the information to, if they can help in some kind of way, do that. And obviously, financial support would be great because we spend a lot of time trying to help other people and get them out of that situation. Because the situation that we're in, we're never going to get out of it until people do something about it themselves.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know what to do. And the people who are getting the most suppression are the ones who know what to do.
Yeah.
And the the government, the people, these criminals behind this, they want us to run to do the worst things, and they're trying to provoke people into a bad situation.
Yeah.
And we don't want this because I understand the way that tyranny works. What happened to me and my daughters will happen to other people. And I don't want this to happen to anyone else. This is why I've pretty much given up my life to do this because if I left this alone, my daughter would be dead. My other daughter, God knows what happened to her, and the rest of people would be finished. So how can I look in the mirror every day and feel like a man? I can't. I can't answer to God. So these are the things that really the top things that really need to be done because the more exposure this gets, the better. And obviously, things take money. I mean, we've been wiped out. We're trying to help people, and the whole idea is to get people into a position where they can help themselves. Because I want to teach people to do what I'm doing so that they can go out and teach people. Because if I had everybody coming to me, and sure, I can, even for my some of the stuff that I charge for services, that would be great. But I can't I cannot do that for everybody. It makes more sense to teach people and get them to go out and teach other people because we need to do this very quickly. And the more people that know how to do this and to help themselves and to defend themselves against these criminals, the better. Because these rights and this knowledge belongs to the people. And that's really what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um someone said I'm an INTP. I usually get a lot of ideas. Sometimes ENTP. Oh, okay, cool. Dad, can you actually send me that thing?
We'll see.
Well, the link you wanted me to send to the person.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah, that's what it is really. And because like and because a lot of people, I don't have the views or whatever as most people. Obviously, there's not going to be a lot of attention on this, and a lot of people get away with a lot of the things that they get away with because there's just not enough people that see it, and so they're people just do whatever they want and they don't care. And that's why I said unless what my dad says happens, it doesn't matter what someone gives me or tries to do for me individually. I'm just cooked regardless. Because at the end of the day, I I need the men, like the solution that my dad said, obviously, and like a man to have a family with that I can do other things with. Like there's just yeah, it's just like that. So that's what that is. So needless to say, again, wait. I wonder if I'm obsessed with lip gloss or if I'm obsessed with the motion, like um the feeling of swiping lip gloss on my lip. Someone said, so what I get from that spreading information is key aspect. I don't want to oversimplify. Dad, he's asking you. You have to scroll down, I guess.
yeah. Sharing the information, like our podcast, like we have, like if you go through a lot of our podcasts, we actually break down a lot of that. We have
Yeah.
an action plan to teach people how they can go and bring their things forward to the government to stop them from doing the things that they need, and then other things to help it to get more traction, to put more pressure on them, because it doesn't matter where it's written very expressly in the United States, but if you live in any place that has any type of freedom, the power always rests with the people.
Yeah.
And the people have to be the ones, the government who represents them are only there to do their will. If they're not doing their will, they have legal recourse and lawful recourse to go in and demand changes. And especially if you were any country that was like, that came from the British system, which that's pretty much the Commonwealth and the United States, um, we have the ability to bring these things forward in a very strong way. And this is codified in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution through the petition for redress. And when your government is doing all of this nonsense, you have a right to go in. And it's not like, oh, please, you beg them. No, you this is your God given right. And it's like, too bad. You're going to listen, you're going to hear, and they have to bring it in. But the people don't want to do that. So then it comes down to a battle of the wills. And so we
Yeah.
lay this all out and show how people are being victimized by the government, or not the government, the criminals operating in government, because there are people that are still trying to do right, and how to go and help those people do what is right. And this is really what it is. Because if we don't take interest over our own issues, they never will. But they want us to be doing things that are ineffective. And I'm not telling people to stop what they're doing, but the work that we're doing is designed to connect everybody, because we're all getting affected in some way by some criminals operating in the government who are working against everybody. Like they don't care. It's like, I'll give you an example. Marcus Garvey worked with the KKK in order to for them to mutually accomplish a goal. They both hated each other, but they wanted to destroy each other, wanted nothing to do with each other. So they worked together to accomplish that goal. So this is what these guys in these criminals are like. They love racism because it keeps people from working together, right? And because if we're fighting each other, then they don't have to do the work. We'll just kill each other off, and then they'll pick up the mess. But what we need to do is deal with the guys that are robbing all of us. We can deal with our neighbor later. Because the greatest threat is the guy that wants to strip us of everything using the power of the law.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people, they'll talk about like me and my situation alone, but they won't bring attention to my father. Like, and the reason I am the way that I am and the work that my father is doing to make all of this happen. And you guys should actually go check out. There's only one person who actually had spoke in support of like that kind of structure of like the father who the father kind of creating pretty much the circumstance for the family to be that way and the daughter and things like that and how they're raised and everything. um and Marcel Mullins on Rules to the Game, on the episode Complex Relationships, he actually showed a clip of me at the whatever podcast talking about how men play chess and women play checkers and that whole structure of what my father taught me, and men creating the circumstance for the success of their family, and having that structure of God and your father or whatever. And he said, maybe that is the way. And like he identified the importance and the value in having that structure in your family and the fathers being the solution. And like I respect that a lot. Like no one else has done that. And some people, they would again show the tragedy of the situation, which is cool and whatever, or they would talk about me in some capacity, but they never acknowledged the origin or the value in the origin, which is the work that my father was doing. And it's like that makes a huge difference because my father is the solution. I'm not the solution. I will never be the solution. I can only support and help with the solutions. I cannot facilitate the solutions. And it's like he's the only person who ever acknowledged that and the only person that ever promoted that. And he did it in a very crucial time as well. While I was in Colorado, another time I was in Colorado and someone tried to kill me. So it's like, you know, the clutch was, really good. But yeah, it's something that people need to understand is that like the men and the fathers are the ones that do the solution, not the women and children. They just come along and help. And the work that the fathers do end up providing, end up being shown in practice through their family. Like their wives and children are largely the evidence of the work, the body of work that they do. The wives and children live the legacy of who that man is. Dad, he put I'm waiting for the link for you to. Someone said, I see. So unconventional impact and actions like guerrilla marketing. I don't know what that means.
It's pretty much exactly what the colonists did to win the Revolutionary War. They had to use asymmetrical warfare, right? This was, I mean, but these things are all perfectly lawful and given for us to do. They were set aside because they want people to follow their nonsense and beg the government like they're kings, and they're not. They are men, and they answer to men, right? And when it comes down to it, politics only runs because men are the driving force behind it. A man carries wherever he is the potential for deadly force if something goes sideways. Say you're going to rape his family and watch the man rip you from limb to limb, right? That's just the way it is. So when a bunch of men come in and say, "This is what we're going to do," and this is pretty much your final option, because you read the Declaration of Independence, the last thing they did before Boston Tea Party was our humble petitions were met with repeated injury, and then they went to war. And they understand this, and they will see consequences when men start coming together and say enough, because they know when men say that, they know what's going to come next. Doesn't need to be said; it's heavily implied.
Yeah, like it. Yeah, Yeah, exactly. And again, like, it's crazy to me because a lot of the people that come and talk to me telling me sweet nothings, it's like they have the ability. The people who like the random people that come and like talk to me and try to get me to believe or think a certain way in the way that they want to, they have the ability to actually do something that would impact my situation. But of course they don't, because they're not real friends, they're enemies. And with friends like that, you don't need enemies, because they're doing more the work of the enemy than your enemy even would be able to. And it's like, that's why I don't have friends. That's why I don't believe in having friends, because the only person that's a true friend to you is God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, if you want to put all of them in there, and your father, and for me as a woman at least, your father, and then the man that you are going to marry. That's it. Those are the only people that you can really trust to be a friend to you in life. And if you have a good mother, obviously, but I obviously don't have a close relationship with my mother. So it's like, yeah, the only people that you can trust is legitimate good family, if you have good family, and the man you sleep next to at night. That's it. That's it. Because everyone that comes along and tries to tell you one thing or another, that you should do this or you should have this, or they want this for you, and then they sit down and just watch you die. It's like, bro, I literally just saw you interacting with this, like doing this, and this. You're interacting with all the people that would be able to help me help my father in the work that he's doing. You're saying that you value his work and you understand his work, but you're not connecting those people so that they can work together to fix the problems that you're complaining about, that you don't have the ability to do in and of yourself, because you need his work and you understand that, but you're just letting it slide. Like, that type of gaslighting is crazy to me. That is a new level of, and people think that because I don't say anything, that I just don't know what's going on, that I'm just stupid, or that my father just doesn't know what's going on, that he's just stupid. It's like, no, that's not how that works. I'm still waiting for the Oh, I didn't see it. Where did you send it?
What's up?
Oh, wait. Copy. Wait. Um. Anyways, what have you guys been up to tonight? What have you guys been doing? What happened? What did you guys do this weekend? What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive.
I'm kidding.
Hmm?
Said no kidding.
Like, I don't know. Like, everything is real, but it's cognitive dissonance at the same time. Guys, like, I only drink hot water, like super hot water, from like tea. One time my dad picked up my bottle instead of his and was hot, and he's like, because my dad hates hot water. He only drinks like super ice cold water with like ice. Oh shoot, can I have the charger please for this? Like the actual cord.
This one?
Yeah, like the whole thing, because it's gonna die. Thanks. And I'm trying to like switch back low key to to drinking like water, but also apparently drinking ice cold water is not good for your heart because it chills your heart every single time you drink ice cold water. But it's a risk I might gotta take, or at least drinking cold water, because someone told me that drinking tea actually dehydrates you. And I was like, that's crazy. I don't know if it's because hot water and or whatever's in the tea or whatever. I don't know. What? What?
Wow.
What?
That's these guys. Wow.
What?
What the RCMP doing? I'm looking at the criminalization of laundering the proceeds of crime.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, it says the conversion or transfer of property, knowing that such property is the proceeds of crime, for the purpose of concealing or disguising the illicit origin of the property, or helping any person who is involved in the commission of the predicate offense to evade legal consequences of his or her actions.
I need it in less words,
Basically,
like in 5 years old words.
For example, when they're stealing our house and they used fraud and then they covered it up, that is literally the definition of what the UN says.
Yeah.
The criminalization of the laundering of proceeds of crime. And this is written into our criminal code.
Yeah. And
this is what they're doing.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm going to tell them. I'm going to sit down and tell them that they're violating the money laundering laws, both domestically and internationally.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, what's really sad, guys, I'm not even going to lie, like, what makes me really sad is watching my dad have to investigate the crime himself. It makes me really, really sad. Someone said room temperature is better caffeine in tea. I don't drink caffeinated tea. I drink mostly herbal tea. The only caffeinated tea I'll sometimes drink is chai tea. But what makes me really sad is sitting here watching my dad constantly have to investigate the crime, taking time out of his day, having to investigate the crimes that happened to him and his children, and not being able to like just live life regularly the way like a man his age should be. Like, he should be working and then preparing for like retirement or whatever, having, raising his kids, whatever. Obviously, I also should just be able to, have peace and healing and be surrounded by people who care about what's best for me and my well-being. And, I have those people, but being surrounded by them is important. And being able to like have a family, it's like this completely devastates someone's life and like puts their life on hold. Or like, how can you focus on like building a business or doing all these other things when people are constantly trying to kill you, and you also have to investigate your own crimes and put the evidence out so that people don't constantly get the ability to just kill you? Like, it's an exceptional level of evil, and it's like really sad. But you obviously can't expect anything from your enemies, and as far as I'm concerned, anyone who's not my friend is not my enemy by default. And it's like, I could definitely be a friend to someone, but it doesn't mean they're going to be a friend to me. And I'm friend to most people, but I don't consider everyone to be a friend to me, because it's my duty as a Christian to be a friend pretty much to anyone that I have the opportunity to be. But I will never consider people to be a friend to me just because they show any ounce of niceties to me, I'll say. And it's like, you obviously can't expect anything from enemies, but it's just not a way that anyone should live regardless. And it's just, it's sad, man, because it's like, obviously you want your parents to have like a decent life, even if you're like a kid in your 20s or your 30s. You see your parents getting older. I was looking at my dad today. I was like, dang, my dad's actually getting hella gray hairs. I like, shoot, my dad's actually starting to get like loads of gray hairs. And I was just like, man, I wish he could just be kicking it back, worrying about work, and then coming home, worrying about like how he's going to do stuff with his family or something, you know? Everyone wants their family to have peace. If you care about your family, you want them to have peace. That's just what it is. If you love someone, you want them to have peace. And you want to like help them create that peace. And oh, by the way, like if you guys want to support like with donations, there's like a link right here. Why do I always go all the way back? Because if it's gonna make it over, you can go to the link that's here, the https ://donorbox.org/the hyphen or dash Karis project Karis dash or hyphen project KARIS for Karis, by the way, to support if you want to. Yeah, that would be cool. Also, wait, how did that? No, nothing. Go back. I was gonna say something just now. Dang it. I hate when that happens. I don't think I'm gonna remember. Because I can't run it back. Like I can't run back this in my mind. Oh, guys. Guess what I saw today? I saw a clip randomly. I randomly saw a clip from Myron Gaines. I don't know why. It just came up in my feed. And bro was... So as you guys know, probably, Myron Gaines is from Fresh and Fit podcast or whatever with... What is the guy? Myron's is Fit and the next guy is Fresh. Maybe his name's Walter. I don't know. I don't remember.
The little guy.
Yeah, the other guy. He, hey Peacemaker, how am I doing today? I'm all right, man. How about you? But pretty much, I saw Myron's post showing a clip or one of his update pages. I don't know, like randomly came in my algorithm showing a clip where he was talking about that he used to work for DHS or ICE or whatever, which he's talked about before, and HSI or whatever, and that he got like some director award, and he got some award for having one of the biggest busts in the country. And I'm gonna read you the title of what the thing was, and I quote tweeted it and I screenshot and quote tweeted the part where he showed the case or whatever. The name: Canadian national pleads guilty to human smuggling conspiracy. So I guess maybe he was working with the northern border, or maybe he was doing things at northern and southern border. I don't know. But he's got the affidavit here for the case number, the docket, and when it was entered in 2020. And it's diabolical. That's so diabolical. And then the criminal cover sheet, he's got like the signature there from him, and then the United States magistrate judge in Miami, Florida. And he's got his name, Amru A. Fudi. I'm sorry for, miss saying that or whatever. And it says SA Amru A FUDL or I or whatever that is, and then HSI. It was a little bit blurry, so it's kind of hard for me to see there. But and he's got like all of his his awards or whatever, and they've got the United States attorney that assistant of the United States attorney that signed off there in the district court and everything. And I'm like, yo, it's like Brian Dobbins, Ariana Fajardo Orshan, United States Attorney, respectfully submitted. So like, uh, I was like, yo, that's crazy. Because so as you guys seen like in my post before, like I went to like Amfest and people are like, oh, you met Myron. And I met Myron at Amfest and talked to him there and had no idea that he had like experience in dealing with Canadian national that pleads guilty to human smuggling conspiracy. And like the thing that like it says here was crazy. It was like there's like the little description here. It says Wednesday, February 24th, 2021. It's like for immediate release, Office of Public Affairs, and it's like a Canadian national pleaded guilty today to conspiracy to bring aliens to the United States for private financial gain in connection with his role in a scheme to smuggle aliens from Sri Lanka through the Caribbean and into the United States. As part of the plea, Sri Kajamukam Shilaya, aka Mohan, aka Richie, 55 of Sri Lanka, admitted to conspiring with others to felicitate the travel of aliens from Sri Lanka through Haiti, Turks and Caicos Islands, and Bahamas to the United States from or on about July 1st, 2019 through on or about October. And then it continues on. And I was like, yo, that's crazy because wait a second. Yeah. October, and his little screen cut that part off. And then said they worked with other human smugglers arranging transport for illegal aliens en route to Canada through the United States. Sentencing will be at a later date or whatever. And then the smuggling operation, which planned to illegally transport individuals through countries, including the United States. The defendant jeopardized the national security of the United States for his own financial benefit, said Acting Assistant Attorney General Nicholas L. McQuaid, Justice Department Criminal Division. As this case demonstrates, the Criminal Division is something working with our law enforcement partners both here and abroad to bring human traffickers to justice and to disrupt and dismantle the international networks they operate. Now, I think that's hilarious. Bro said, I'm blessed. Thanks for asking. What's the topic tonight? I'm just yapping, bro. I'm just yapping because people were coming for me on the timeline. And I'm just saying, like, I can't say I do what I want. I do what's advised of me, of the men in my life. Or like what the men in my life, obviously think is okay. So like I do what I want within bounds, you know what I mean? But I'm kind of saying, right now the time of me seeing this on the timeline is hilarious because as you guys know, like I said that I was like a survivor of human trafficking and smuggled across the border twice twice into the United States from Canada and then back into Canada from the United States by Americans. So seeing that Myron has like this understanding of people who smuggle people in and out of Canada and America and trafficking and doing national security risks and for financial gain, like I was like, bro, that's crazy. That's crazy because I met Myron, right? And I knew that he had like some dealings with being a ICE worker or DHS or something. I just didn't know to what degree because I don't follow his podcast and I don't know much about him. But I think that's very interesting that there are actually, because obviously most influencers are just influencers and they don't really have any skill sets that are really valuable, that can really do anything. But that understanding of things is pretty crucial for what's been going on the last couple years, especially now when Kash Patel is saying that Canada is the number one national security threat to the United States, and most of Mexico's trafficking and cartel operations have moved to Canada. and things are coming through Canada that way. And it's like, for a lot of understanding solutions of what and the problem of what's going on, having that kind of knowledge and understanding would kind of be important for looking at certain things and understanding certain things. And he said he had the biggest case in the US, like in the little clip. And I'm like, well, shoot, bro, there's a few more you might want to look at. I don't think he obviously probably doesn't work like doing that anymore. He's like a podcaster now or something. I don't know. But, you know, I think it's at least kind of good that something like that, he put his little case out like that, because most people would not think that about Canada, and that kind of information never really comes out about Canada or Canadian nationals, you know, like coming and doing stuff, like, as everyone's like, oh, Canada's this great place, nothing bad ever happens to Canada, or to like with Canadians, like, or you know, they're just kind of whatever, everyone only looks at America. It's like, bro has the, can you guys even see that? Not for some reason, but I screenshotted it. I was like, that's hilarious. I hope more of that stuff kind of comes out. I guess what I'm saying is I hope that more of that stuff comes out about Canada and people who had some dealings or workings with, you know, cases that they were involved investigating, or that they were a part of, you know, busting or whatever. Um, that that stuff can kind of come out, because I think more people need to understand the things happening through Canada into the United States and how those things are affecting things, and that they are national security threats, and loads of national security threats are coming from Canada into the United States, and with Canadian nationals, with Canadian citizens and things like that. So, I mean, I'd be interested to kind of, I guess, in that capacity, pick his brain, because I'm like, if you understand that, surely you would understand loads of the things that, you know, a lot of us are dealing with in Canada. Surely he has some greater understanding of quite a bit of things, I think. But I also found it interesting because I was like, well, this was years ago that, you know, you had some of this understanding, but most of the things, what kind of confuses me about that, and, you know, cool that he's put that out. That's very cool. Very cool information. Um, but why don't you talk more about stuff like that? Why don't you talk more about national security threat interest issues where you actually can be considered like maybe a subject matter expert, as opposed to talking about, you know, problems with prostitutes on your show all day? That's a real, like, that's my question. And of course, like, people do whatever they want. I mean, it's your life, do whatever you want. But it's like, if you want to make a difference, especially with what's happening in the world, and I don't know, like, I'm not a man. I'm not going to say what difference he is or isn't making. That's not my place to do. I'm just saying, like, when there are people who are influencers who actually don't have any skill sets, they don't have any background understanding on anything. They just literally are talking about things for the purpose of talking about them, without any ability to actually prove circumstantially or practically how it's true or how it makes sense or how it functions. When there's influencers like that going around doing stuff that's actually causing more harm than good to the country and the interest and benefit of the country, and actually doing loads to destroy the well-being and infrastructure of the country, why not actually just talk about things that you actually have the um qualification and experience and evidence to show that you were capable in certain areas? Why not talk about those things and how they're affecting America and Canada right now? Like, talking to prostitutes isn't really going to do anything, like, just to be fair, and it hasn't done anything. Of course, I think in large, it has shown the state in some degree. It has shown the state of, America, just how bad the feminism and degeneracy has gotten. But I think it's very clear now. Like, you have the Whatever podcast, you have Fresh and Fit and Myron Gaines, and there's probably others that do that too. But I think it's very clear now what feminism um and like pretty much Jezebels and Ahabs have done in society. I don't think that is a useful point of attack anymore. It's like, okay, it's been exposed, everyone knows what it is, but like, now what are men going to do to like recalibrate their focus and like strategize a way to solve some of these problems, especially when you were a part of like the biggest bust in America. That's what he said he said this was like the biggest bust of like of America at that time. The biggest case or whatever. So it's like the Canadian national that pled guilty to human smuggling conspiracy, with what Kash Patel's coming out and saying right now in Congress about how Canada is the number one national security threat to the United States, and there's no greater threat right now to the United States of America than Canada. Why not start using your um ex expert? What do they call it? What does General Flynn call it? Subject matter expert.
What? Yes, yes.
Yeah, why not use your subject matter expertise and start tackling some of the things that you are actually qualified to tackle, and explain to men how these things are happening, like circumstantially, the ideologies that these people have to do these things, the way that they calibrate together to do these things and organize to do these things, and the things they can do to protect themselves against it, and the things that they can do to fight against it or to solve the problem. Like, why not do that? Like, that's an extremely important thing. Like, I think that if a man with that kind of expertise had that, they would get way more out of their audience. Of course, it doesn't sell as much as prostitutes coming on stream and being stupid, because men love girls that are half naked, I guess, visually, and that's entertaining for them, I guess. And then men also like girls who are talking stupid and promoting their OnlyFans, because the men that are weak to that, they're going to probably like it. That's what my dad says anyway. So I don't know, not in those words, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but it's like, that's no longer like that doesn't really do anything. I think loads of men would see, and especially after what they've seen all around with the filth women are doing, a lot of it would make more sense if they had some of the knowledge that Myron Gaines had, in what he's seen with people trafficking between Canada and the United States, and the way people traffic, and the mindset of the people who traffic, and the characteristics of the circumstances within the crime. So it's like, I don't know. It's like, why diminish yourself to talking to drinking and talking to prostitutes all day on stream, when you could stream about solutions? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't pay the same. I don't know. I don't know the reason why he left. He said that he had like, I think in the clip, he said he was working for the government, and then he started a fitness company, and then did the streaming and left the government. I don't know the reason though. I don't know. Maybe he got burnt out. A lot of people get burned out. I don't know. I don't know the reason. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I just don't understand why people with the expertise to do things leave conversations to people who are like influencers, like female influencers, to deal with things. Because the only reason I have the knowledge to talk about certain things is because I went through it and I lived and I collected bodies of evidence. But the reason I only understand it is because I literally had a father who was explaining the circumstances to me. So if he wasn't explaining the circumstances, nothing would have made sense in the same way that it does. And I would have been dead before I had any understanding of an ounce of the circumstances to begin with. So I really don't understand that. And then I saw something from China today saying that online on X feed, saying that China is officially putting um, mandates or restrictions on influencers, saying that it is illegal to talk about something unless you are a subject matter expert. And I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with it at all, because there's a lot of influencers, women and men alike, but especially women, that are going around talking about subjects that they have no clue on, no circumstantial understanding of, and they're leading people in the wrong direction.
I wouldn't go as far as to restrict people from talking. People can have
well, not talking, but I mean like leading the charge in the thing.
I think that they have to make sure that they make it very clear to people that they are not experts in the subject, and that they're only giving opinions on the matter. And that people should go and look at these things for themselves and not take them verbatim.
Yes.
That's what they should be. They should be responsibly doing, but they're not. They talk as if they are authority, and that's the problem.
Yes. And someone said, yeah, and that's what people should do. They should have to be very clear that they are not subject matter experts, and they should trust subject matter experts that can outline the circumstances with proof that this is what's going on, and their opinion alone, being not a subject matter expert, is what it is. Do you want to read?
This one here?
Yeah, man said, money, where weak men watch Myron Gaines. No disrespect to Myron, but it's more lucrative to appeal to modern weak men. Someone said, totally agree with him. Oh, that Myron is doing that because of money, because it makes more money to appeal to weak men than to work together with strong men.
This is the problem. What they end up doing is that weak men will suppress strong men, but they need strong men to lead the weak men through the difficult times. Otherwise, it's going to be completely destroyed. And this makes absolutely no sense. But the weak men who are trying to gain money, because I've said it before, I don't think that Myron Gaines is a strong man. He's not. He doesn't demonstrate that. He has a platform, but he's not the strongest of men, not even by a long shot.
No.
And so he's going to go in and maintain his platform and so forth, and he's going to appeal to the weak men and make them feel good and say the things that make him feel good, but he's not providing them the solutions that they need to make their life better. Because the reality of the matter is not every man is going to be a businessman. Not every man is going to have the 6-pack, 6 figures, and 6 inches, 6 feet. Because a lot of people, they're just not, they're tall enough, and your size of your penis is determined by your genetics. Right? It is what it is. You just deal with what you've got. And then the other part, sure, people can go get in shape or whatever else like that, but not every person is going to be able to make 6 figures. That's just the reality of the matter. So how do you deal with that? You have to have a character, and you have to be able to provide the intangible things that a lot of those people that have money don't have. Because how many of those people are ready to defend their families or the women they're with their lives? Because if you're not willing to defend that woman with your life, then what are you doing with her?
Yeah, exactly. If you can't defend a woman with your life, then if you're not willing to defend a woman with your life, you have no business talking to her, because that's just a waste of your time. It's like, and that's why I said, what my dad just, like the whole thing, what my dad just said about Myron, like, that's why I said, someone like me, what I experienced, he would understand with his knowledge of working in immigration and DHS. Myron Gaines would understand if he looked at my documents from immigration, if he looked at my travel documents that I had, if he's seen anything of what I experienced, Myron Gaines would understand what I experienced. And I met this guy at what's it called, at Amfest in Arizona, and last year, I think it was December, whatever. And I said, hey man, like we had some beef online, but I think sir, because I call everyone sir. I was like, oh, we had some beef online or whatever, because I said something he didn't agree with, and he called me ugly, and my dad said something that he didn't agree with, and whatever, but I was like, hey, let's talk about some things on a stream, and he's like, oh, like send me a message or whatever, and I did, I sent him a DM or whatever, and then he did it. So I don't know if he just thinks that he probably couldn't, you know, deal with my dad like ideologically or whatever in that kind of debate, but people who actually have the expertise to look at things and make sense of things, they're not the ones looking at things and making sense of things. It's like, what's the point in, and then people wonder why like so many different things go on unchecked. It's like people who actually have the knowledge to do things, they just don't do things. Like there's another guy online, his name is Elijah Schaefer, I think. He's like a really racist guy. He's recently coming to God. I don't know if it's because he feels guilty and he's scared or whatever the case may be, but he's saying that he's coming to God, and he's, realizing there's a lot of things that he's doing that is sideways and he wants to switch it, whatever. But he's an engineer, and he talks so much about how much black fatigue and he doesn't like black people or any minorities, matter of fact. But he's an engineer, and he's a subject matter expert because he is an engineer. So he would understand the work that my father's done and that my father is doing, but he refused to show any respect or even just look at.
I wouldn't call him a subject matter expert because he wasn't actually working in the area that I was working, but he would know enough to functionally understand what I was saying and could speak intelligently on the matter.
Okay, yeah, that's more fair to say. And so that's what I'm saying. Like he knows who my dad is, and he constantly, like when we would say certain things, he would speak against what we were trying to say. But if he looked at the engineering stuff, he would have enough understanding as an engineer like my dad, even though he is not a subject matter expert. As an engineer, he would have enough understanding to know, looking at it, like, oh shoot, this makes sense. So it's like, why are people who have degrees in certain areas and understanding in certain areas becoming influencers and then going to the lowest common denominator form of
Money.
of just the money?
It's money. All these guys that are doing all
Said, who are we talking
things,
about here?
What?
You said, who are we talking about here? Right now I'm talking about Elijah Schaefer.
Yes.
Before that I said Myron Gaines.
They're both doing it for money.
Yeah, they're both doing it for money, probably.
Because at the end of the day, if they actually said what needed to be done, they wouldn't make as much money.
But if all the men who had the knowledge to do those things worked together and did actual things, would they not make equivalent money?
Yeah, but the people who are signing their paychecks, a lot of those people, they want things to stay the way they are, and they have bigger invest. You have to remember that a lot of things are controlled by a lot of money, and a lot of money is not necessarily all clean. And
I mean, but it can't be any dirtier than the money they're making now.
Well, I'm saying at the end of the day, a lot of them, if they start saying those things, they'll get deplatformed from the places that they're on. Like the place people that are paying them, right? That are getting them into those positions because they didn't just get those podcasts by themselves. They didn't just build them themselves.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, you show up one day and you just have a whole functioning podcast studio.
People are doing it for them. They put them in those positions. Like somebody backed them.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm wondering. Right? I'm like, what the hell?
Build it. There's very few people that actually go build it brick by brick and do it themselves.
Yeah, people show up for. Man said facts. He agrees with you.
Right. So if they go against the people who are putting in those positions, they'll pull the plug on them.
But why not just work with the men who are doing the hard thing, and they're making money with the other men who might not be making money, but they have the solutions, and they all work together in their different areas. They continue to back each other. They continue to do that work and push it forward. And then they encourage the younger people who have the same tenacity and fire, and will give them courage to do that. And they start moving forward with that and pushing that. Because
having wage slaves keeps them in their position and guarantees that.
But having people who have courage and fortitude that will do the same, would it not produce eventually the same money?
Yes, but those people who are have the money, a lot of the money now, they're going to lose their money in that situation because nobody's going to go to them anymore. They're going to go to the people that are telling the truth, right? This is really what,
Bro,
because lies can't compete with the truth. It's just the bottom line, and that's why the truth gets attacked so much.
you can't love money that much, man. You can't love lucrative life that much that you're gonna
There are
that
people that are spineless.
that is spineless.
That's the whole point. This is
And
why
that's why, okay,
this
go
is why
ahead,
the
sorry.
Bible says the love of money is
Is
the
the
root
root
of
of
all
all
evil.
evil, yeah.
Because it's not the
The
money
love of
itself.
mammon,
It
yeah.
is that they are willing to do anything to gain the power that comes with it.
And that's what I don't understand, because it's like they have these degrees and these positions. Like Myron, he used to work for the government and he had the biggest bust, the Canadian national that pleaded guilty to the human smuggling conspiracy, and he worked in HSI or whatever. He got a director's award. And then Elijah Schaefer, he's an engineer, and there's other people like him with qualifications that area. These people have degrees and whatever else. They have their experience in life, and they're wasting it, diminishing themselves to this capacity. And then there's like, they're not leading people in the way that they went out and got expertise to make a difference in that way. Yeah, they got the biggest bust in that area and whatever, and it's like, but then you're going and doing something completely different to lead weak men instead of, which will fuel more of the things that he fought against in the government. Sorry, then actually leading people the right direction. And then they have people like Andrew Tate, who I think has never gone to university. I think Tristan said once that they're street men or something. They're from the streets of Luton. Sorry. This is so funny to me. I'm sorry, but this is hilarious. Because the men, like him and his friends, are from the streets. And they're doing more things with the spine than the people that are subject matter experts or have like the degrees to actually have the understanding to go out and solve some of these issues that are like killing millions of people. And and people attack people like, Andrew and his brother and his friends or whatever, Andrew and Tristan. But they don't go after the people who are actually subject matter experts and refuse to do things that would make a difference in all of the things that they're complaining about. A lot of the things that people are complaining about, Myron has the subject matter expert knowledge in some of it. A lot of the things that people are complaining about, Elijah Schaefer has the knowledge as an engineer, maybe not subject matter expert, but the knowledge. A lot of people in politics or government are subject matter experts on certain things, and they refuse to do anything that makes a difference or build communities or businesses in a way where they can gather those young men together or those people together in a way where they could produce results. This shows almost like degrees are a scam. Do you see what I mean? Like anyone, do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Like anyone with a degree can go and do, and sometimes, and now they're so desperate for workers, someone said, because people were clowning him in the comments, and someone said, clowning Myron in the comments when he posted that thing. And someone said that they're hiring pretty much anyone at this point. They don't care. The man who used to, I think the guy who used to play Superman, he went, right?
Yes.
He went to become an ice worker. It's like, sorry. I'm sorry, but this is so funny to me. Someone said, "You think You think that way because y'all have God and the Holy Spirit. Man, as a society, don't think like that. But that's why they gotta think like that, because it's like if you had people who had the knowledge, who could come together with people who have, like, there's varying levels of degrees of things where people of value that people have. Some people have intelligence. So like some people have more gifts than one. The Bible outlines what the spiritual gifts God gives you, whether it's language, teaching, leadership, whatever, like the pastoral ministry, whatever. Um, whatever spiritual gift you have, whether you have one talent or many, those people come together and they use those things and build, and that builds power, that builds influence, that builds movement in the right direction. Whereas people who have it and they're just wasting it, God says if you have something, you don't use it, he's going to take it from you and give it to someone else. So it's like the willingness to use, it's like not using something that God has given you is a huge form of ungratefulness. God's like, I have given you this because I see a purpose and a value in your ability to do something great with that. And people just spit in the face of God and it's like, whatever. Which shows that there's more value in a man who actually has the willingness to do the right thing and does the right thing, even if he doesn't have all of, what everyone else has. It's literally the willingness. And that's what God respects. He respects men who try. God loves somebody who puts their best foot forward and they try. It's not about perfection. It's about the progress and the willingness to step forward every single time. And having the courage to do so, because in a world like today in 2025, it seems like no one has courage anymore and everybody wants to nitpick at little different small things. But I don't see anyone, just because someone's not been accused of doing something, an egregious crime, doesn't mean that they're not an awful person, doesn't mean that they're not wasting their talents and actually doing the devil's work and doing things that are largely harmful to other people. Because if you have the skill and the capability to do something and fix a problem and you sit by and let it happen and focus on doing something that feeds your feelings and your personal interest and your personal benefit alone, then yeah, you're doing a madness. You're causing the very problem that you once fought against, and you're causing the problem that you say that you don't like because it feeds your pockets, and then you gaslight. I would argue that anyone in any capacity that does that is far worse than anything that anyone would accuse people like Andrew and Tristan of. Because when you know better, you do better. But I don't know. What do I know? I'm not a subject matter in anything. The only PhD I'm trying to have is in baby making. Baby making and baking and, cooking nice meals for my husband and other, really nice, sweet things, That's the only subject matter I'm trying to be an expert in, is being a wife and a mother. So what do I know? And I'm not well learned in anything. Really, not on an official capacity. I don't have any degrees. My highest form of education completed is grade 12. I've obviously obtained a diploma from high school because I graduated. And, I have some university classes, but I'd not completed anything. And even if I did have a university degree, it wouldn't put me on the level of a man or being able to circumstantially assess or solve problems the way that a man would. It wouldn't put me in the same level in capacity in the slightest. So it wouldn't really mean much of anything. Like it wouldn't add any value to me as a female or a woman in general, So again, what do I know? I'm just a woman that yaps at the end of the day. Wait, why did I take this off? I could have been listening to this whole time and jamming, but I got too caught up talking to you guys. Someone said, I agree with your father. You're fighting against a very lucrative and well-established system. Yeah, but that sucks. And I'm not an altruistic person in the slightest. I'm not one of those people that are like, everyone can be happy and everyone can be like how they're like, I would argue that red pill content people or any of these influencers on the internet are more altruistic than people who are genuine, God fearing people or try their best to be, the way like many people online are, or anyone that is trying to promote the betterment and growth of people the way that myself or any like my dad more so than anyone else would be. I would argue that influencers as a whole are more altruistic in their promotion of their ideology and their life than anyone else because they're selling a dream. Altruism is like everyone can be happy and do great things and everyone can be six figures and six pack. And you might not have 6 inches or 6 feet, but you could at least get six figures and six pack. You just have to work hard and just get it. It's like, that's altruism because that's not living in reality. And I'm not an altruistic person in the slightest. I am a realist. Some people will think I'm more of a pessimist, but I am a realist. I'm more focused on efficiency and effectiveness and the circumstances by which that happens and the potential for all the possibilities or variables and what that looks like. And I'm like, there is a reality in which these possibilities could happen if certain variables were put into play, and they would be very efficient and they would be very effective. But people just refuse to take those steps and those avenues. And then it's like, okay, choice is choice. People take choice. People have free will, and that's fine. They do whatever they want to do. That's fine. There's just the reality that exists in which it can happen. That's not altruism at all. That's weighing possibilities and circumstances. That's just weighing the risk and mitigations and things. Most people online are altruistic because the altruism is they're selling that dream through altruism, and they get people like high on the idea that, yeah, I can do this. Like, I just need to feel it. I need to manifest. I need to manifest and the universe will give it to me because the universe loves me. And it's all about like a karmic kind of thing, not like where you have full control of the universe because you feel it and you're going to take it and you're going to be positive about it and it's going to happen. And it's like, you don't usurp the authority of God. You don't have that authority, no matter like how altruistic or like positive you think you are. And yeah, there's a certain truth to, positivity having a certain effect on your outcomes because the way that you look at things is going to affect your ability to move forward in it. But that's for people who are exceptionally emotional, I think. I think emotional people need to look at things positively and be like, okay, now I'm going to move forward in this. Because someone like my father and myself will look at something and be like, this is a very dreary and bleak and dark circumstance and situation, and it sucks, and I hate it, and I want nothing to do with it, but I have to step forward and do it anyways. And it'll feel like pulling teeth or pulling blood from a stone, and you just want to bash your head into the wall, but you're like, all right, well, I got to do this. And then once it's over, it's like, oh, thank God. And then you're on to the next thing that's worse than the first thing. And you're just like, oh, frick. But I'm more prepared for that thing because I dealt with the first thing and I understand it better, so I can do it. Most people are like, I have to pull like these emotions out of the sky and encourage myself with that positive influence, and the karma from that is going to push me forward. And I'm like, what kind of mystical reality are you people living in? And then the universe will keep giving it to them because the universe loves them, because they're feeding their emotions to an endless universe that's addicted to emotions. I don't know. It's very feminine, like it's weird. Mr. Pretty Tucky of oh Tuckio Feelings? That's an interesting name, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah. Anyways, that's just interesting to me. That's interesting because I think um the internet as a whole is a lie in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of value and purpose to it. Obviously, I come on here and yap because like I don't know. Sometimes I think it's fun to come on here and yap. And I'm just a woman, anyways, I guess. But for what we're dealing with in life and society, I wish people would have more of a not altruism and stop selling people a dream, but be realistic. But people don't want to lose their money, which sucks to have that duality of understanding of the world. And I guess that's where men are the ones who are really supposed to deal with things. And someone shared like a little chart or whatever today about the emotionality of like women throughout the month versus men being like pretty much stable, and they have like one small hump of emotions, because men actually do have like a hormonal imbalance at one point in the month, but women's emotions is like pretty much that. And I was like, I guess that's why. And people were saying, obviously, that's why women belong in the home and men belong out in society doing the things of men with each other to create solutions and stuff.
Men compartmentalize the fluctuations and still just go ahead and change. Like,
well, yeah, because they can compartmentalize. Women can't do that.
Women, they just lose their marbles.
Yeah, they can't handle it. So it's like, that's why men are supposed to be out in society and dealing with problems and working together to fix things, because women can't even fix their own emotions in those moments.
No. For example, I was just having a little conversation while I'm waiting for this thing to process on X with this feminist, and she is telling me what I believe, and then telling me that what I believe is about God is wrong, that it's sexist, and everything else like that. And I'm like, okay. I said, but it doesn't matter. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do, and that's going to help everybody, including people like you who don't like what I'm doing or think that I'm sexist. And she's like, tries to say something back to me, and I'm like, listen, I don't care what you think about me. I understand that regardless of whether somebody agrees with me or not, we need to have freedom from a tyrannical government. So I'm going to take the steps to make sure that everybody's free, and that includes the people who I think their ideas are completely foolish and stupid.
Yeah.
Because I can't say freedom for me, but not for everybody else. That's not the way that works. And then they get the consequences of their natural actions. But I mean, I can't sit down and determine that somebody arbitrarily has less liberty than me. That's nonsense.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is like how men can even be friends with certain people when they know that they have the ability to do certain things and they're watching them do the opposite that's actually causing more problems. Men compartmentalize in ways that my brain will just never understand, but like that's why it's important for them to be the ones dealing with issues, because men, just because they smile in your face doesn't mean they're your friend, and just because they understand why something was done doesn't mean that they condone it or they agree with it. And you'll just never know that a man was preparing the gallows for you until you're hanging on them. And what?
Men understand that sometimes people are useful for
certain things, yeah.
Even though, because you can't kill everybody.
Like, no, yeah.
Like women, if women were like, oh, the world would be better if the women ran it.
No, they wouldn't. Everyone would be dead. Everyone would be dead. They would be dead.
Right? And
they killed everyone and themselves.
Everybody's a bad guy, so then the jails are overpopulated. Nobody's left to control them.
They wouldn't make it to jail. They would kill them.
Yes. But you know what I mean? They have to have the jails packed before they kill them.
Yes.
And so...
Well, depends on the kind of temperament that woman has.
Well, I get it. But at the end of the day, men know that there are varying degrees of
wickedness.
Yes. And what is tolerable and what is not. And after it comes to a certain threshold, that's where the hammer comes down. Women don't see those thresholds at that point in time. This is why men can tolerate some things that women want to just go crazy on, because they're like, okay, they're useful to the bigger picture, so I'll deal with that for now until the time comes when I can deal with it. Because why stress on something that if you do this right now, you'll just kill everybody? Doesn't make sense. So you have to understand, you have to weigh the risk of dealing with that person right now, even if they're problematic, or dealing with the bigger problem. When women do not deal with the prioritize problems in order of magnitude
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah.
They are terrible at it.
They're very bad at that. They're very bad at that. Women really suck at weighing the risk of what the highest priority is and what needs to be dealt with first.
Because the woman talks to me about sexism when I talked about a tyrannical government.
Yeah, it's like, bro.
It's like, are you joking?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying with the men that come to me and they're telling me, oh, you should not deal with this person, or you not should respect this person, not should support this whatever because my feelings and this whatever. I'm like, bro, I'm literally dying here. Like I'm literally suffering. Like, and you're trying to tell me, like, pick at words.
You should ask them, are you a feminist? Because you're certainly sounding.
No, but they're saying that it's misogyny from those people, but they're demonstrating misogyny by watching me suffer and not doing anything.
No. That's why you sit down and say, are you a feminist? Because you certainly sound like one. Because feminists complain and they don't do anything.
You're right. You're right.
Because
you're right.
Going and
that's
saying,
the solution.
Oh, that man is a misogynist. So what? You know what? You know what people don't want. You want to take Andrew Tate down and not have him to have a platform. You know how you do that? Become a better man than him.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's really
and demonstrate it in your actions.
Demonstrate that you can offer something more than he can. Then people are going to come to you because people are going to go to where they see something that is better. But all those guys that are sitting down and flapping their lips and yapping this and that, do something about it because I'm tired of armchair quarterbacks because we were watching the entire country burn down and like, oh, Andrew Tate. Well, what did you do to help the trafficker in your the person who's being trafficked in your neighborhood?
In your neighborhood, yeah.
Nothing? Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Right? Did you help the homeless guy that's in your neighborhood? No. Shut your mouth. Did you help somebody who needed help in your area for whatever it was? No. Shut your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my problem. That's why I said it's virtue signaling. Most of the people that attack people that they say that they don't like for whatever reason, for misogyny or whatever, they are terrible people because they say all these things that they can't stand or that they don't like, but they do nothing to change it. And it's like, no, you're actually worse than the person you claim that is terrible because you not only leave these things unchecked, you facilitate some of them yourself by your own actions or inactions.
Because you have to begin to look at what do people add to society.
Yeah, what do
they create? Because if somebody's always complaining about someone without bringing any value, added value, because all the people, okay, sure, you tear them down, and then what? What are you going to do? What's
the replacement?
Who's going to replace them? Where are the people that are there? Well, is it you? Well, I don't know. So then, what are you going in? Okay, because regardless of situation, and I don't agree with everything that Andrew Tate does or says. I guess not at all. But what I can say is he does motivate people, and people have done things differently. And has there been some positive effects of men getting up and going out and doing something instead of crying about their problems? Sure, it is. Is it the best way? No, I wouldn't say so. Can it use improvement? Sure. But where are people that are going to go out and doing that same thing that are going to provide better solutions? Because the guys that I see complaining, I'm like, that's great. But if you don't have something to replace it with, those men are going to go back in the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's better to have them doing something than nothing.
Yeah, like look in your DM.
We need people who are going to get men to do things.
Someone caramelized an onion. What the hell? Sick in the head, bro. No. There's no way. No way. Yeah, man, that's really the thing too. It's like, wait. unless that's if you're gonna say that someone sucks, you just gotta outperform them. Like, I don't really complain about like women online because I'm like, there's nothing that they do that I think is like more capable in a sense than like what I can do. So there's no point in me, unless we're like talking about a stream and bringing an example of like something to make sense of something else, giving the visual to make sense of something else. Then we're showing like, okay, this is what's going on. This is madness. But like, and this is how this relates to this situation. But I'm not spending my time like going around trying to convince people to have certain opinions of other people. I give my opinion and my reason why I have that opinion based on whatever ideological understanding I follow, but I don't really tell people what to think. I tell them like to look at things and like to consider different things. And it's like the women that I value, that I see value in, are the ones who have that are wives and mothers. And they're doing something that I obviously haven't done, and I'm like, that's very cool. I love that, because that's what women are best at doing, being wives and mothers. But it's like, those are not the women who are able to lead anything, but men just going around complaining like, oh, stop it, please, why don't you go out and like be a leader and just surpass. And then if you hate them that much, then you'll become a greater leader, and then people will listen to you. You'll become the subject matter expert. Man, I don't know. I play too much. I don't know. You be playing, man. What your name is? What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing though? I'm going to check out soon. You guys, I'll give you a few minutes to ask like some more questions, and then I'll check out. I gotta wake up and work out. I've been doing cardio, guys. I feel pretty good. Every time I see like doggies outside, I'm like, oh, you're so cute. There's like sometimes small dogs. I think if you're gonna have a dog, you might as well have a huge dog. Sorry. I think if you have a small dog, it's like an oversized rat. And there's like no point in having a dog like that. So I don't know. I really don't like seeing those dogs. And I just feel like those dogs are kind of gross. I don't know. I don't like small dogs. But I like big dogs. But anyway, seeing dogs in general, like when I'm on walks, I'm like, oh, you're so cute. So that's kind of nice. And it's getting cooler. So like when I walk and it's like hot, like because you're building up a sweat, and then the cold air cools you down, and it's like I feel like midnight from like My Hero Academia when I did that. Because like she would like open her shirt and like her sweat or something, like pheromones or something from her sweat would like make people pass out. Someone said building chairs. That's what's up. Are you a carpenter? That's really cool, actually. Did you know Midnight on My Hero Academia was like a pervert? She was actually a pervert. Like in one of the episodes, I think when they were in the tournament, like, when Todoroki fought Deku and Kachan fought Ochako, and, like that whole tournament kind of thing, some of the students said that they didn't want to participate because they got there without hard work or something. Like they don't remember because someone else's quirk like made them forget something, and they're like, I can't participate because my pride won't let me, like my honor or whatever. And she let them sacrifice themselves from the tournament. And then she was like, oh, it's such honor or manliness or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, it's turning me on." I was like, and then the whole audience was like, "Did she just say it was turning her on?" And the kids were like, the women in My Hero Academia, like, it was very hard for me to watch a lot of like the the seasons and episodes from that show because a lot of the women were very disturbingly feminists and female predators. Someone said, "Nah, just an office chair. That's what's up." And I think the way that female predation is promoted is super disgusting, and women get away with loads of stuff. Like, I saw this streamer, I saw something on Twitch I've been seeing on my timeline. I don't really know much about it, but pretty much these female streamers, they were apparently like they held this guy down. I don't know the details, but apparently they did some sort of sexual harassment or assault on Twitch stream, on live stream, 2 women to 1 man, something like that. And they just come on and done an apology, and Twitch never done nothing to them, never suspend their account, never kicked them off. These women aren't like been arrested or like been charged or nothing. And again, I don't know the full details, but there's loads of people that have been kicked off of Twitch, off of YouTube, men, for just saying words that people don't like. Like, women get away with a lot of stuff, and it's really disgusting. And it just shows how little respect society has for men. Like, you can do anything to men and just get away with it if you were a diabolical, like, feminist woman. If you're not a feminist woman, bad things will happen to you, and then no one will help you because they just don't care, because they don't want people to see that women are not feminist. But if you're a feminist woman, they will, like, society will help you destroy, like, the most random innocent man for no reason whatsoever. And it's like, to be publicly sexually harassed on a live stream on Twitch by women, even if you're a man, it's like they kind of like they kind of, I don't want to say the word, but they like bitch you out, like, in front of everybody. You can't say like a man likes something like that. And someone was like, if two men would have held down a woman on on live stream on Twitch and sexually harassed her, he would be like completely destroyed. Like, he would have been moved off of Twitch. I was like, Mans would have been in prison and they'd be calling for his death. Like, so I don't know, but like, unless people are until women start getting consequences, I actually think it would be kind of cool if, and I guess this is why I was talking about like men doing certain things earlier, like coming, like moving in a different direction earlier, because if men started taking more, putting their foot down approach, or a more forward approach, then what the heck? Then women would get more consequences and they would be pushed back into um their natural positions, their natural God-given positions. They wouldn't be in the spaces with men anymore. They would pretty much be forced to do what only women can do, because they would get consequences for doing the wrong thing, and they would get shut out by not being able to compete with men in the things that men do. So it's like, if men just continue to promote weakness in men, like these, it's going to build these predatory women that go around destroying other men and just being like, oops, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Like, I beg your pardon, like, you like, and the audacity to do these things like openly and publicly is mad. Like, and because women think that they're not going to get caught and they're not going to have consequences. Like, we had on the stream, we showed the other day, this girl, we showed the police camera footage where they're talking to the girl, and they arrest her because she's masturbating on a public beach, and there was a family and children there. They called the police, and she confessed to it. And she was like, "Oh, what am I gonna get a ticket?" And they're like, "Nah, fam, you're under arrest." and and she went to jail, and she later ended up getting killed. So this lady made loads of bad decisions, but it's like that's kind of the stuff that you promote when men don't be men. Like they just let loads of women go around living delusion and altruism, like they can have things, and also promoting the idea to men that all men can have six pack and six figures if they just work hard enough for it. It's like I saw this video of this one guy on internet. He said, this white guy, no disrespect to the white people, man, but this white guy, he put this video and he was like, I worked out in the gym for 13 years to be built exactly like the average black man that never works out. Something to like that effect, like who hasn't like who like barely works out or doesn't work out or whatever, and it's just chilling. Like his natural athletic frame is like a black man who doesn't work out after 13 years in the gym. And it's like some people just don't have the genetic lottery. And the guy was taller, like a little bit taller, I guess, or whatever. He looked like a little like above average height or whatever. But even still, he couldn't build that muscular frame that he wanted for whatever reason. I don't know. And he looked like he was decently in shape. I don't know, but he still couldn't get the frame that he wanted. So it's like even promoting the idea to men that, oh, you can have the six pack, the six figures. You might not have the 6 inches and the 6 feet. That's like genetics. There's nothing you can do about that. But you can have the other two, and then that can push you to get women. It promotes the idea to women that they can all have that man who has 6 pack and 6 figures. Because if you're saying that all men can have it, then they're like, all of us deserve it. And it's like, well, that's insanity. Go with the man that has the contents of character. Go with the man that's going to help you grow in life, that is going to support you and care for you and love you and respect you and all these things. So they're selling a dream to men, which is by proxy selling a messed up dream to women. They're eating it up, and they're doubling down on a lot of wickedness because they're also not getting consequences. And they're seeing that men are promoting this idea, and they're like, okay, well, if you're saying that men have the obligation to do this, then men have the obligation to give this to me as well. Even though and then they're saying that less than 1% of the population has it, but they're promoting to men that that's the solution to get women. So then women are going around saying, well, yeah, give it to me or else. It's like, so they're doing a circulating problem, and that's feeding into itself and killing itself, and killing any progress that they're expecting to have or to see. And it's just not going to work. So it's like until those men get up and put aside the weakness and stop being spineless and actually start being men and actually acknowledge what the solution actually is, which is God. Well, that's where you're going to get the strength from. I can't tell men how to be men, but God, a father, like men who are good fathers, and then the fathers doing what is necessary for the children, kind of like my dad done, like understanding the origin of where these things come from so that they can get the best results that they need. Much like Sir Marcel Mullins said on his Rules to the Game podcast on complex relationships, acknowledging the importance of, and the value and the structure of having a father that actually does these things for his family. Because you're just not going to get it outside of that. It's just not possible. And then even because it doesn't matter how much you might like, it doesn't matter how much you might think that you can get certain things out of a situation with like women or not. If they don't have a good structure from their fathers or whatever, you're just not going to have that. It doesn't matter how much money you have. And even in his most recent show,
what he did there was weak.
Who? Yeah, the guy. No, Dad, I'm talking. You're talking about the person I sent you in DM.
Yes.
Okay, I was like, and then even recently, when in his most recent podcast called Gingerbread Man, yeah, where he doubles down talking about that. And there's very many to understand the importance of the structure of having God and a father, and men that are going to do the man's role in the home, and women like wives who are going to do their role so that their children can have what they need, but fathers that are going to stay in the home, because you can have all these things that they're talking about if you don't have the structure and you're not willing to do that structure with someone. It's just not going to work. But yes, what that person done, that's the person. I was like, that's why I was kind of cheesed. I was like, what do you mean, bro? Like, and thinking that doing those things, doing those things means that you are helping me stay alive. That's not how that works. That's not at all how that works. And it's like spitting in my face. Like, you think you're helping me? Like, you think you're saving my life, bro? Like, I don't know. And that's also why I said, like, one way that you guys can support me, if you want to support my content, at least you can subscribe to my channel. Twitter doesn't even really pay me for the subscriptions that I have. I don't even know how often I get money from my subscriptions. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think that I even really receive the subscription payments for whatever reason. I'll get like the ad revenue or whatever from the monetization, but what is like $20 every 2 weeks. But if you subscribe to me, I'm not gonna make exclusive content. Like, it's pretty much just you supporting my content in general. But I'm not gonna answer your messages. I'm not gonna have private conversations with you. I used to say, like, if you subscribe to me, then like you said, and the feminine men they raise. Yes, yeah, you're right. I used to say, like, if you subscribe to me, then like I'll answer your messages, because that's in, like, I thought that was just being nice. But women online like that, when men subscribe and do things, it's pretty much like they're trying to get in with prostitution, or they're hoping that one day you'll be desperate enough for money that you'll start posting nudes in your exclusive content, and that, their support to you that way will just get that for you. And that's just not what I'm down for. So, like, I've closed my DMs completely. And someone said, yeah, don't do that. Yeah, no, that's why I don't like answer anyone's DMs anymore. And even some of the people who come on our show, I told them, hey man, like, just start messaging me on the Karis project if you want to talk to us or whatever. Like, either my father and I, message us on the Karis project, because I've completely closed my DMs. I'm not talking to anybody on my personal DM.
I just had to say, I respond. I'm actually very irritated with what that guy did.
That's what I'm saying. It was very,
because he said he didn't like what you said about it, and he's like, "Oh, don't give me that." And I told him, I put on the reply, I said the issue isn't with Andrew Tate. The issue is with Christians, because Andrew Tate would not have a platform if Christian men were doing what needed to be done.
yes.
There was
yeah.
a price
Yes.
that wasn't answered. So Andrew Tate, as a Muslim, came in and he came to address it when no Christian man was.
Yeah.
And then there are Christian men, and I told men like myself and others like me that could help direct them in the right way, and they're not platforming them. I said, the answer isn't going and saying something because you don't like what you said. I said, you have to sit down and consider all the failures that you have witnessed as a woman speaking from your experience. And so the issue is for Christian men to be a better man, not to sit down and act like a woman and say, I'm going to get mad at what you say. It's about being a better man. And I'm sick and tired of men operating this way, because even these people are like, oh, the guys, the white guys that complain about the white women that are going off and going and interracially marrying and stuff like that. If you're a good man, your daughter's gonna find a man like you.
Right.
If
yeah.
you're trash, she don't want no man like
She's gonna go the opposite of you. Yeah.
So
which is why I
what you
stay with
want
black men.
when you want to deal with certain things, you be a better man. And this is what I used to have to sit down and say is that if we gave another alternative, then we wouldn't have to worry about Christians going to go listen to a Muslim.
Right. And
where's the Christian equivalent?
Right. And the thing is, well, someone said he used to be a Christian. I used to agree with him a lot more when he was. Well, of course, because then you would have had shared ideologies. But even if Christians were doing more what they were doing, Tristan would have been more popular. I mean, a lot of people agree with Tristan, but, you know, it would have been a different dynamic. And it's like, what are you saying?
The little I see about Andrew Tate, and I've seen him say this, and he slaps Christians in the face.
Yeah, he does.
For their lack of doing things.
Yeah, the lack of actions.
What? He's right.
Yeah, he
and
is.
The people that are Christians that are doing things, what do the Christians do to them? They try to kill them. The Christian men that are standing up for what is right, what are the other Christians doing?
Yeah, they're trying to kill them.
They're coming to take them out. And they are literally giving people who are Muslim, like Andrew Tate, the platform to influence Christian men.
Yeah.
So when Christian men go out and talk about Andrew Tate, while they're still suppressing Christian men who could do for Christian men what Andrew Tate is doing, but except lead them to Christ,
right?
They need to shut their mouths.
You know, it's also more diabolical. After Andrew shared the video of me, he has a friend named Hassan Shibli who runs a law office in Miami, from Florida or whatever. Not Miami, he's from Florida. And they decided to take my case of what was happening to me as a survivor of human trafficking, and they helped me when no one else would. And they're Muslims. I think they do Tate Pledge with Andrew. He has like some organization where they do Tate Pledge and they help feed people or whatever. And that guy, he's a lawyer, and he helped me. His law office helped me with my case and went through what was happening with me, and, you know, got some people off my back at one point. And it's like, where all these people that were complaining, where were they to get their lawyer friends to help me? Or where were the people who were around them, at least, who witnessed something that they shared and said, I want to help this person that you shared the video of, and I'm going to reach out to that person and help them in a way that actually is going to make a difference in their life. Where were the Christians to do that?
I don't agree with a lot of what he says.
Well, no, I'm not even saying that.
There are things that he says. Are they true? Yes. I don't have to agree with everything that everybody says to know that saying that somebody, when they say something, is it right? Yes. Because it's like saying, I don't agree with prostitution. But if a prostitute comes and says that I got raped, should I just disregard her because she's a prostitute?
Yeah, no.
No. I have to investigate and say, is that thing true? And it doesn't matter where it comes from. Because there's a lot of times, for example, they get cartel members who tell them about the trafficking operations of the cartels. Well, they take that information and then they verify. And then if it's good, then they act on it.
Yeah.
And they will reward that guy for giving him the information, even though he's a cartel member.
Yeah, it's like the guy, at the time when the lawyer person helped me, ICE was threatening to send me to a third country. I have the letter. They were like, we're gonna, if you don't like leave or whatever, we're gonna deport you to a third country, not Canada, because they would know they wouldn't be able to deport me to Canada. They were trying to send me to a third country. I still have the letter. And it's like, if there was not their intervention, if Hassan Shibli's law office didn't intervene, I don't know where the hell I would be at this present moment in time. Probably in some random country I've never been to, and deceased somewhere in a garbage dump, like just missing. So it's like, people can complain and say whatever they want, But who was there to help me when I needed it, like in a way that I actually needed it? Like, okay, like you liked one of my streams, maybe you shared one of my streams, and yeah, I do need the information to get out there 100%. But again, the highest priority, mitigation of risk, when people literally is trying to kill me, you're gonna act like I should just spit in the face of people.
I obviously want to work with Christians
I get,
because I'm a
well, I'm a
I, oh,
Christian.
because I'm a Christian. But at this point in time, we cannot throw away anybody who is going to be an asset to help us deal with this tyrannical government.
That's my point.
Because the tyrannical government just wants to kill us all,
Yeah, that's my
right?
point.
And as far as there's not enough people, period. So we can't necessarily throw away somebody who, when we're looking at it, we can deal with some of these other issues later, rather than being exterminated by everybody, by all of us being exterminated.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're in a very different situation right now, and we have to deal with that. And this is really where we're at. And a lot of this is because Christians were asleep.
Yeah.
If Christians were following what God was doing, the government would have never got this far.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Never.
If Christians were doing what they were supposed to do, if like the Christians who are complaining about stuff, if they were taking the action, then I could say, okay, well, as a Christian, you've done all this, and you know what? You're right. You're doing more, and I can give you the respect where respect is due because you're doing God's work in this area. But these people are not even doing that, and that's the point. It's like, this is why Christians are being slapped down like this, because Christians are complaining about things and not even going out and trying to be better men and fixing problems in the areas that they're supposed to fix them. So someone said the Bible even says to make friends with secular people, for when you are in trouble, they can help you. Yeah, you're supposed to do the work to, because everyone deserves to know Christ, and by being friends with people, they'll get to know Christ through that friendship with you. So it's a good night, y'all. Heading out. Good night, man.
I actually would like to see him go back to Jesus.
Yeah, me too. I think it would be such a dope story if Andrew Tate turned back to God. If he became a Christian back, that would be like a really cool story. I'm not going to lie, because he has the experience now on a multitude of ends. Like, he was a Christian, then he went Muslim, and if he turned back to Christ, the Western I'm sorry to laugh, but if Andrew Tate became a Christian back, the entire West would be cooked. the feminists the feminists would be cooked. All the men would be like, it would be just like a really savage play. I'm not even gonna lie. And not even like a play, like, because obviously if he went back Christian, it would have to be a genuine thing, but it would make a huge difference in the West. A huge difference, because a lot of men follow his influence. A lot of people have become Muslim because of his influence. And if he went back Christian, a lot of men would too. And those Christian men would ultimately be the ones to destroy the feminism. Sorry, because it's in large Christianity that disagrees with feminism as a whole more than any other religion, even though, like, the ideology itself is Christianity, even though it's not being done in practice. And it's not being done in practice because the Christian men are not actually showing and putting their foot down and actually showing it and being proper men. So my dad says, so, like, that's the case. But yeah, it would make a really huge difference. It would be very funny. It'd be very funny, but on a spiritual level, yeah, it would be very cool if he turned back to Christianity. And I think people should pray for that, because it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah. But I think because of the way that he talks about Christianity in general, I think probably it's likely it's reasonable to assume that because he talks about Christian men being weak and all those other things, why he actually left. And that's why a lot of people leave. If they saw Christians that were actually doing positive things, then that made sense, and they were not cucks and like whatever else men complain about, then people would probably have more respect for Christianity because they would see that it works in practice. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Anyway, moral of the story. Sorry. I'm going to head out, guys. Moral of the story. Don't tell me what to do. Someone said it works. What works? Don't think that because you follow me and you support my streams that you can tell me what to do. There's never a reality in which you will be able to tell me what to do or you will be able to sway my opinion, because there's only two men whose opinion I actually respect or care about, like on a deep level. And those two men are, you said water. Yes, thank you. I know I have to drink water. There's only two men who can sway my opinion, and none of you will ever be one of those two men. And one is my father. The other man is the man I speak to. So, someone said Christianity works. Yeah, please don't come at me sideways because you follow me thinking that I just have to listen to you and you can make demands of me. Don't ever think that that is the case, and don't ever think that I will even listen to it. I'm not even going to entertain it.
I mean, our relationship with people is what determines.
Yes, and they don't have any relationship to me, and they never will.
Well, I'm just saying that it's, well, you can't say never, right?
Random people on the internet?
Well, I mean, you have no idea if you may meet that person in person to do work with them, or I may meet them to do work.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they'll sway my opinion.
I mean, in certain situations, maybe they will, based on the work that's being done. We can't. I've learned enough to never say never when it comes to doing things, because God has showed me otherwise, right? But I'm saying
on a personal level.
I'm not saying.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, on a personal level.
Opinion on something, because if something is wrong and you're meeting somebody said, "Well, look, that's it." Well, then you have to listen if it's supportive.
Okay, well, that's different. If someone says something's,
so I'm saying, I'm just saying to be.
I'm just
more specific on that.
I get it. I get it. I'm just saying, as of right now, just I'm not going to adhere to anything anyone tells me on the internet.
You're saying, yeah. You said
if I would never build a close enough relationship with a random man in the future from the internet, even if there was work with them where they would change my opinion on anything.
People will offer their 2 cents, but they can't expect you to follow it.
That's what I'm saying. You can offer your 2 cents, but I'm never going to listen to it. Unless you said 2 + 2 = 4, then I can acknowledge, yeah, 2 + 2 = 4, but you're not going to tell me how to think or what to say.
It's just, yeah. If it makes reasonable sense and it's something, then
yeah,
like, okay, that's fine.
Someone said thumbs up to your dad. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, I think it's better to focus on actions instead of like words. And obviously I don't know what the future holds. Like my dad says, I have to just thug it out and see what's going to happen in the future. Maybe something will surprise me. Never. Like he said, never say never. But yeah, for now, leave me alone. And until you can prove to me in actions that you're doing something better than the things and the people that you complain about, think twice about, saying it to me. Because I'm just going to brush it off. Said, Pops understands your future may be one of your followers. What does that mean?
That means that there may be something somebody that follows you that does factors into something in the future. You have no idea. Okay,
well, you're talking about things that I just can't think about.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why you can't. This is why you just can't say this will never happen because, for example, what happens if one of your followers becomes somebody that I intimately work with to do stuff with, and then they're gonna have some type of, for example, working relationship with you that they may say, hey, you probably shouldn't do that because that may cause X, Y, and Z.
In work, but not in my personal life.
Well, I mean, if they see, it may not be like, say, for example, if you're married, it's not going to go.
That's what I'm talking about, like in the future.
I'm talking about saying if in the area, for example, if you're doing something with one of your girlfriends or some of the girls that you're doing something, you're like, hey, you know what, that may be something you may not want to consider because it may cause you problems.
So then why wouldn't he talk to you or my future husband? Why is he coming to tell me that? Why does he come to think that he can tell me what to do?
Who?
Like if you're working with someone in the future.
No, I'm saying if they saw you at that point and it was something that may be detrimental, they would be obligated to say something. Because if
in the moment.
Yes, if God says if you see somebody,
I just don't see a reality in which that exists. Well, it's possible.
Look, man, the devil's resourceful. Just put it this way: it's not that the devil will cause people to do things or even things.
Why would I even be in a position like that?
Because if you're working with other women,
why would I be working with those people?
If you're working with other women and we're all in sort of a same area, and they come across, like, say, if you're in a church setting.
Yeah, but why would they? Why are you trying to convince me of something? Why not just tell you then?
But if they were there and you guys were about to do something detrimental, and say he was getting something in the kitchen, you guys were working there, and you guys were going to do something that was going to cause a problem, you'd have to say something right there rather than walking away.
That's different. That's a business thing. I'm talking about my personal effects. You have no business telling me about my personal opinions.
Yeah, but if you were going to offer, it doesn't mean you're going to have to change it. People are free to say what they want. Right?
You're thinking about business stuff, and I don't think like that.
There's still a personal element to the people you work with.
Maybe
doing God's work, because they're not just workers; they become your brothers and sisters.
Do they really?
If you're doing God's work.
I don't know, man.
You've been around devil worshippers for a long
time. Everyone is your friend until they try to kill you. So it's like,
well, when the people,
I don't really trust anybody. I trust actions, not people.
Are persecuted people as well.
Huh?
What? People who serve God are persecuted.
Oh no, I trust the actions of people.
They come together because they're collectively persecuted. This is how God's going to bring all of his people together, because everybody who's serving God is going to get kicked in the face one way or the other.
Yeah, and I respect the people who've been persecuted because they've shown certain character, and so I respect them. But in work, I'll work with people in that way. I get that. I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying I'm not going to change my personal opinion on anything, like for random people. That I'm not talking about the people who are persecuted and actually doing the work and they're actually showing their character. I'm talking about the people who are not showing character and they're trying to demand that I change my opinion on things, and they don't show that they're doing anything positive. That's what I'm talking about. Well, that's why I'm like, in what reality would I ever listen to you?
Can't just expect that they're going to just come up and give you major life-changing advice.
Even in the future, if I ever came across them in person, I'd never listen to them, because they don't show in their actions that they deserve respect in that area of understanding, because they're liars in their character.
Well, this is why men and women think differently, because when somebody comes up to a man and he starts telling him something, there's a series of things that go through his mind as to whether or not what he's gonna do with that information. Because the first question is, why is this person coming up to me?
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
What is this reasoning? And there's just a whole filter of things that are just going off that the man is beginning to assess as this person is telling them this, on whether or not they should I listen to the man? Do I need to break his arms right now? Do I need to just say get lost? Whatever the situation is. So a man is assessing the threat, risk, and everything that's going on.
Yeah, but the only way,
the moment they come and start talking,
even if we're working with people in the future, unless you or like if I was married, unless my husband said,
in the future.
I hope I'm married in the future, God only knows. All I'm saying, if my husband said, okay, you can listen to what this person says while you guys are working in this, then I'll trust what that person says. If he says not to trust this person, I don't care what that person tells me. Unless someone is like dying and there's like an emergency kind of situation, I'm probably not listening to them. Unless there's like an explicit, it makes sense to listen to them. Like, that's what I'm saying. So if it's a work situation and you said you're working with someone and maybe like there was something that I needed to do or whatever, obviously you would have delegated, yeah, you can trust this person in this work environment area, and then I would do things as a proxy to that, but not for any other reason. It wouldn't be because I'm like, oh yeah, I agree with the way you think and I like you or whatever. It'd just be like, I probably won't care so much, and I won't have any personal reason to care on a very deep level. Someone said, my bad, y'all couldn't leave finding that. Wait, what scripture?
He said it's Luke 16.
What is that? Wait, okay, I'll check that real quick. Wait. Let me open it. Luke 16, verse 8 to 9. Luke 16, verse 8 and 9. It says, wait, it's loading. My thing is loading very slow. It says, and the Lord, Luke 16, verses 8 and 9, and the Lord commended the unjust steward because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light. And I say unto you, make to yourselves friends of the mammon of unrighteousness, that when ye fail, they may receive you into everlasting habitations. What does it mean?
That he does say that you should make, you need to make friends with those people in the world, just because there's a lot of times they will help you.
Friends, yeah, well, I trust the actions, and if people show actions of themselves to be friends, then I'll trust that.
All right, see you later.
Someone said, catch you later.
Hide.
Catch you later, hide. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have friends in the future. Maybe.
I mean, it's not your life is not. This is not the way life normally is.
I know it's not the way life normally is, but it's the way that most people live now.
Yes, but it will change.
Yeah, I think I'll believe that when I see it.
God doesn't get people to go and work by themselves. He doesn't do that.
No, you can't work by yourself. But maybe I'm struggling to understand the friendship aspect, that you're somehow going to be friends with the people that you work with, because most people that work with you do it because it's necessity, not because they like you.
Yes, but God will give you, God, when he sent people out, he sent them out to like you and they became friends.
Okay, well, men think like that.
The same will be with women.
Yeah, when I believe you, man, it'll make sense when I see it.
Yes, when two women are married women and they're subjected to God, they will be very different than just random women that are running around like Jezebels. Just saying.
Yeah, well, when those women come to fruition and come to light, then, that can be a different experience. Until then, it's kind of like, okay, well, we're in the deep. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning into this yap sesh. I gotta get up and work out in the morning, so I'm gonna go to bed. I've tired myself out a little bit. And someone says your pops has been making great points. No, 100%. My dad always makes great points. My dad's out here with the logic and reason all the time, which is why I said, like, as a female, I just don't think that way, because I don't see those things. And because I don't see it, it's hard for it to make sense. Which is why I said I believe you, but when I see it, it'll make more sense. Like, I know you're telling the truth, probably. No, you are telling the truth. Just when I actually see it, then it's going to make sense to me. I'm like, okay, in the meantime, I'm just going to have to believe that what he's saying is a fact and then just function as if it's fact. So I largely just I don't like the idea of, legitimate friendships in general, just because I've been screwed over so much the last couple of years. So the idea of having, and someone said to me the other day, like, I deserve, well, man said to me the other day that I deserve like peace and healing and, people who want my best interest, to be around people who want my best interest and stuff like that. And of course, the men I know are those people, but the idea of more people being involved in that kind of like is a little irritating to me. I'm not going to lie, because just I haven't experienced that really because of the last couple of years, and the idea of it being real just seems like it just doesn't make sense to me, just because of my experience, like how it would be real. But like I know like it's for sure possible, like how my dad said. I just don't know how it's going to come to be. Like, I don't know how that's going to happen. So like my dad can say that, man can say that, but in my mind, because I don't know the circumstances by which it's going to come to be, I'm just like, okay, thanks, it makes sense. I mean, I guess I'll believe it, but because I don't know the steps to make that happen, it's like hard for my mind to process the reality. So I just accept it as fact until it just comes to be, because I trust the words of the men who say it. So yeah, I know like my dad's talking facts and man's talking facts, but it's just, I'm just like, okay, I'll just wait to see that happen. And yeah. So anyways, guys, thanks for tuning into my app sesh. I'm going to bed, and I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love and support. Yeah, I just hope that more people decide to do more active roles in things to make a difference, instead of words and complaining and things like that. But the people who do support, I really appreciate you guys, and I do respect it. I do respect that. And again, if you want to like donate or whatever, there's like the link here on the screen, the https /donorbox.org/the-Karis-project. And yeah, so anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next show. Ciao. Hello friends, my name is Kaysha, and I'm a proud member of the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan. And I'm also a survivor of human trafficking. My trafficking began in Saskatchewan, moved into Alberta, and even crossed into the United States. I was stalked, hunted, and ignored by the very systems over the last 5 years that were meant to protect me. This is why, with my father Dale Richardson, we started the Karis Project. This is an Indigenous, survivor-led movement for humanity dedicated to exposing trafficking, government corruption, and holding institutions accountable. One of the most powerful tools that we are using is the petitions for redress of grievances. These are lawful constitutional actions rooted in Canadian and US law, and in treaties that tie us together across provinces, across states, and even across borders. These petitions are precedent-setting. They create a binding record. They demand accountability while representing reconciliation in action. Indigenous and non-Indigenous people working side by side to preserve liberty for all. But we cannot do this alone. We need your help to keep this movement alive, to raise awareness and to build a legacy of justice for Indigenous women, for trafficking survivors, and for families everywhere. Thank you. Please stand with us. Your support makes this work possible. Together we can restore justice, heal families, and defend freedom. And I will close with my favorite quote. The greatest want of the world is the want of men. Men who cannot be bought or sold. Men who in their inmost souls are true and honest. Men who do not fear to call sin by its right name. Men whose conscience is as true to duty as the needle to the pole. and men who will stand for the right, though the heavens may fall. Thank you.